right. Good evening, ladies and gents. This is the Gryd 2025 NBA Draft Live Reaction Show. This is day 2 of the NBA Draft. We saw plenty of stuff going on yesterday. I'm Mike Guido, your host. It's great to have you with us here on day 2. Day 2 tends to go a little bit quicker, so we shouldn't be here till midnight like we were last night. But we do have plenty to go over today. Only 29 picks, by the way, only 29 picks here in the second round, as the Knicks forfeited their pick. That would have been later in the second round. So only 29 picks for tonight. But we saw a lot of drama yesterday. Ace Bailey going to a spot that he previously said that he didn't want to go to. We'll see how that plays out. Cooper Flagg, obviously, going number 1 to the Dallas Mavericks. This is going to be an interesting night. So plug in here. We are just about underway. And there are reports already coming out that are saying that we kind of have an idea of who could potentially be the pick at number 31, that being Rasheer Fleming out of St. Joseph's. So we'll see if that's actually the case. But usually if it comes from Shams, that's usually a pretty safe bet. But it is quite the show we have covering the NBA draft. Again, I am flying it solo, but the good news is that we might have Bryson Carver today. We might have Bryson Carver today a little bit later on in the broadcast. So it is great to have you here again. I'm Mike Guido. I'll be taking you the whole way through the rest of tonight. One of the things that we saw yesterday that was really, really interesting and got talked a lot about. And I feel like I did myself a little bit of a disservice yesterday by not talking about it as much as I probably should have. New Orleans giving up their future first-round pick, their first-round pick next year, to trade up 10 spots to go get Derek Queen. I mean, I don't know that they view Derek Queen in that high of regard to sacrifice next year's first-round pick to go get him, but that was some move. Really. Like, that really was something that needs to be studied. Because, it was brought up by, I want to say it was Nick Wright yesterday, like, the Pelicans could be terrible next year. They could be terrible. And, like, that first round, it's fully unprotected in the trade. So, like, no matter what, like, Atlanta's getting it. Atlanta's getting that pick. So if the Pelicans end up, like, they could very easily have a top 5 pick in the draft next year. Like, just gift wrapped it. I mean, I get it, but I don't know. They must view Derek Queen in that high of a regard to make a move like that. There's no way that everybody on the outside world could be thinking that, and nobody in the Pelican organization isn't. Like, there's just no way. There's just no way that that's a possibility. So we are about to get underway here for day 2 of the draft. We did see some movement yesterday. Memphis moving up to get Cedric Coward. That was an interesting move, moving up all the way to moving up to 11 from 16. Portland trading back. Them taking Hanson Yang, which again, like that was maybe the biggest reach of the night, was Hanson Yang going to Portland at 16. I had him mid-second round. Hanson Yang is the number 42 player on my board. You know, he's got some Marc Gasol to him, but, you know, I fully expected him to go on day 2. Yannick Conan Niederhauser to wrap up the first round yesterday to the Clippers. He's my number 44 overall player. First ever first round draft pick from Penn State, which is hard to believe, but that, like, and I love that kid, by the way. Number 44 overall player. Reminds me a lot of Jackson Hayes. Like, his highlight tape is ridiculous because he's such a good athlete. He swats people out of the yard. Like, he finishes explosive. Like, he is just a monster in some ways. And if you can coach him up, then he's going to be a really good player. But there's a lot of risk with him, right? He's got tons of upside, but there's a lot of risk that comes with that as well. So I just thought that was a very neat way to end round one. Listen, this is a very odd draft. It is very odd, right? Because Cooper Flag obviously is the prized possession. We kind of all knew who the top 6 picks were going to be yesterday, and maybe top 7, depending on where you put Jeremiah Fears. But Cooper Flag, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, Trey Johnson, VJ Edgecombe, and Con Knipple, I think those were the very obvious top picks of this draft. And then after that, I thought you were going to see a lot of fluctuation, and that's exactly what we got, right? The very next pick at number 7 ended up being Jeremiah Fears, but then after that, it was Agor Demon, who, Agor Demon's a good player, number 16 on my board, but that's kind of what it was, is you were just going to see a lot of, this pool from the 7th best player or 8th best player to like the 25th best player were going to go in any order in the next 10 or 13 picks. Like that was really the nature of what this draft was going to be. Colin Murray Boyles was number 18 on my board. He ended up going 9. And then you go back down, Kaman Malawach ends up going number 10, and he's number 9. So like it just, it's weighted a very weird way. I mean, I have some guys on my board right now, like Kobe Brea is the number 30 player on my board. He might be the best pure shooter in this whole draft. And I've seen big boards that have him at like 62. Like, like that's kind of what I'm like. This is where we're at with this class and how interchangeable some of these wings, especially some of these wing players, right? Cam Jones, John Tonje, Elijah Martin, I think is somebody that you can throw in that category as well. Tamar Bates, Sion James, RJ Luis, like all of these guys are placed in different spots. But we'll see. This is what's going to make the second round so interesting. We're just going to kind of play matchmaker today, because we look at what all these teams are doing. I mean, Brooklyn made 5 first-round picks yesterday. Do they have a pick anymore today? I don't think they do. They did have a pick earlier. I think they did have a pick. I think they had 36, and then they traded it to Phoenix, and then Phoenix just used that pick to trade up to 31. So Phoenix is going to be on the clock at 31. Yeah, Brooklyn does not have a pick here in the second round. But again, when you have 5 first rounders, who do you know how many rookies are you really going to sign? So listen, we had a lot of draft day trades today. We really did. I'm seeing it pop up on the screen right now. Lakers traded up to 45 with the Bulls. The Bulls traded down. The Suns got the 36, and then they traded it for 31, and then the Suns got 31 with the Warriors, and the Warriors traded back. So there was a lot of action today. So there's going to be, it's going to be telling of what these teams really want to do with these picks and what direction they want to put their roster in. So we'll see how that goes. This is going to be a very laid back night. Again, I did day 2 of the NFL draft like this. And I'm going to treat it the exact same way, maybe even more relaxed for the NBA draft, because the NBA draft is, and I can tell you this is my 8th draft, kind of deep diving, 8th or 9th, one of these. 2017 was my first. And it was like, so much of this turns into a crapshoot, but it is so fun when you just get a kid right. You just get it right, right? There's some guy that you just had a feeling about, and then you get it right. Donovan Mitchell was one of my guys in that respect as well. Like, it's just, really, interesting stuff when you get to this point. So, again, please feel free to leave some comments. We're going to be here all night. It's going to be a long night for us. It's going to be a long night for me. Here coming up, covering day 2 of the NBA draft. We are still not quite ready yet to get the thing rolling, but we should be on the clock soon. Phoenix is going to have that pick. Right now, it is seemingly looking like it's going to be Rasheer Fleming, who's going to end up being that pick. But again, we'll see. Let me just get myself caught up here with scouting reports. I want to kind of flush out some of the ones that I don't need of players that have already been drafted. I want to get rid of some of these pages. Okay, so these I can get rid of. Okay, so all right, so we'll start here. Because we've got plenty of guys here. The first few pages of my scouting reports are already through after yesterday. So again, this is exciting territory. It really exciting territory, right? Obviously, the story of Jokic, and that story's been told to death. But being a being drafted in the second round during a Taco Bell commercial, I mean, that's why I think it's important to pay attention to this stuff because, and I honestly, I think it's so, that's why this is really interesting for me in a lot of ways because, again, like it's so easy to say that, the Cooper Flags and the Dylan Harpers and the Konkanipples and these guys are going to work out, right? But if we go back, you know what I mean? We look back from 5 years from now and we say, well, the the Portland Trailblazers were right about Hanson Yang, then, like it's just like it really is something that I think is cool about this whole experience in the NBA draft as a whole. So again, we're here, we're ready for it. What is I'm trying to think of what I want to see today. Who's somebody I really want to see get drafted today? Because like I have some of my favorites here that I'm trying to point out. I'm really interested to see where Johnny Broome goes because Johnny Broome is not necessarily a great draft prospect. I mean, I'm a 35 overall player. Like he was probably the second best player in college basketball last year next to Cooper Flag. And I mean, Johnny Broome is, he's not the same as a prospect. Now, I think he could be a potential pretty good NBA player, but just simply not the same upside. So I'm really interested to see where he goes. Let's see. Javon Small, the point guard out of West Virginia, that kid I love. That kid is going to be good in my mind. Tamar Bates, I think, is a really interesting shooter out of Missouri. I'm interested to see where he goes. I want to see if anybody takes Mark Sears or Isan Almansa, like some of these guys that have been talked about for a while, but in different ways. Mark Sears been through college basketball for several years, big time shooter, had a lot of success at Alabama. I really want to see where he ends up, if he ends up getting drafted tonight. Isan Almansa, again, in the same light, but in the international circuit. I mean, it just feels like he's played for 4, 5, or 17 different international teams. So we're going to see. I really want to see where he ends up as well. I want to see if Vlad Golden goes tonight also. If somebody just wants to take a chance on like a giant 7-1 center that is going to dunk on everybody, So I don't know. We'll see. This is one of the things I said yesterday that I think needs to be pointed in another direction as well. Yesterday, I was saying that this draft is pretty rich with bigs. And a lot of them went yesterday. I mean, you saw it yesterday. Thomas Sorber and Hanson Yang and, guys like Danny Wolf going and Joan Behringer. And, they all these guys ended up going, obviously Malawach and Derek Queen and these guys. But, like, there's still plenty of bigs left that can be taken. Eric Dixon, I think, is somebody that's going to go today. Bogolyub Markovic, I think, is somebody that he showed out during the combine and in all of the pre-draft workouts. So I would not be surprised if he was drafted as a draft and stash kind of guy. Dylan Cardwell out of Auburn is a mammoth of a center. Mammoth. So I'd love to see if that guy ends up going at some point today as well. Amari Williams out of Kentucky. And then you have some international guys, right? Lachlan Ulbrich out of Australia. He's like a Jock Landale kind of guy. So we'll see if somebody takes him. Rocco Zakarski is the monster. Like he's 7'3", 7'4", and moves pretty good. He's kind of like a Zach Edey sort of guy. I don't know that he's as good or as like has the same soft touch that Zach Edey does, but he's definitely a lane clogger. I'll tell you that. He's a big dude. It looks like Mark Tatum is at the podium here, about ready to kick off the day 2 of the NBA draft, where the Phoenix Suns will be on the clock. We are not there yet. Again, it's assumed right now that the Phoenix Suns were working their way up to get themselves to Rasheer Fleming, who Rasheer Fleming to me, and here we go. It looks like we are just about ready. Is that what we're seeing now? Are we? Yes, we are. The Phoenix Suns are now on the clock. It says right now, if you're watching it on television, you're following along on television, it's going to say the Minnesota Timberwolves, but this is a trade that is going to the Phoenix Suns. Again, I can talk about it till I'm blue in the face. I hate the way the NBA does draft day trades. I absolutely hate it. Rasheer Fleming's my number 26 overall player, right? Power forward, Paul Millsap-ish kind of player, 15 points a game, 8.5 rebounds. I'm just assuming that this is going to end up being the pick here. Again, this is a Shams report. And I feel pretty good about it, obviously. But he's a big bruiser. Stretch 4, hits standstill threes at a real solid clip, does well popping off screens and hitting threes off the catch. Real perimeter guy, great defender inside and out. So getting that kind of player here at the top of the second round, I think is fairly valuable. Now, Phoenix, what they did yesterday, they walked away with Kaman Malawach. Again, he was the best center on the board for me. He was the best center in the draft. And then they traded for Mark Williams. So Phoenix already had quite the eventful day yesterday. And then they have more picks today. I mean, I think they have, what is it? They might have two picks today. They did have 3, I think. But I think they now only have 2. They have 31, and according to my record, it's 41 that they have now. So they'll pick now. They'll pick 10 picks from now. And again, we'll see where it goes. Got to make sure I'm ready with the draft chimes. So it's fun for me. But Edu Thiero, I think, is the best player on the board right now for me. He's my number 21 overall player. Edu Thiero, I should have mentioned him before. I am really interested to see where Tyrese Proctor ends up, because I think Tyrese Proctor is potentially special, and you just need to get him in the right environment, because his role at Duke diminished so much over the last few years. Obviously last year with Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple and Sion James and these guys, like, they had so many players that could get the ball. Tyrese Proctor, was kind of, I don't want to say an afterthought, but he was just a third, fourth option for them offensively. And I think Tyrese Proctor's a better player than that. I'm just waiting for that kid to just figure it all out. So, and maybe it never comes. I mean, I'd like to stay positive in something like this, but I would really like to see if Tyrese Proctor comes out. But top 5 available for me: Edu Thiero, Tyrese Proctor, Rasheer Fleming, Maxim Reynaud, who, I think that kid is exciting to watch. One of the better centers in the draft out of Stanford. And then Kobe Brea, who might be the best all-around shooter in the entire draft. That kid can light it up. It looks like the pick is in right now for the Phoenix Suns. And again, we are assuming at this point that it'll be Rasheer Fleming, but again, crazier things have happened than Shams being wrong. I think. So I don't know. But he kind of did like the Woj thing, where he kind of like spoiled it without spoiling it, just so that he doesn't get in trouble with the network. Oh, they're dialing in on this guy, but they're not saying he's not like flat out saying that they're selecting him. So I don't know. It's fun when that stuff like that happens. But the pick is in. It looks like we are ready for Mr. Smiles. We are ready for Mark Tatum. Let's fire up the draft chimes for the Phoenix Suns at number 31. And it certainly is Rasheer Fleming out of St. Joseph's. So again, number 31 pick here for Rasheer Fleming. They get my number 26 player at this spot. I was actually a little bit surprised that he didn't go in round one. He was definitely worthy of going in round one. Reminds me a lot of Paul Millsap, one of these big, I guess you can call him a combo forward. I kind of look at him more as a 4 than a 3 athletically. But listen, he was first team All A10. He was a junior 2-year starter here at St. Joseph's. So, and he was their best player. I mean, no doubt about it. Like I said, 15 points a game, 8.5 rebounds a game, bruising screens. He should provide some versatility on the defensive end. A real solid 3-point shooter. I think he's going to work well off screens. He's not a great passer. He's not a great ball handler. I think he's going to be, a little bit more of an off-ball player. He's not a terrific athlete, in my eyes, and he can be a little streaky as a shooter. But I really think that, getting him in an environment where he can just kind of pop shots, I think that that's the best environment for him. So Rasheer Fleming here going to Phoenix. I think that's a great pick. Real good value here at the top of the second round. And again, I don't think they're done. They walk away right now with Kaman Malawach and Rasheer Fleming. So good value here for the Phoenix Suns. So we now move to the Boston Celtics, who took Hugo Gonzalez earlier in the first round. I shouldn't say earlier, but they took him in the first round yesterday. So the Boston Celtics are now on the clock at number 32. Let me double check and see if from a production standpoint, I can sort of spoil myself. Just make sure I get everything smooth here, or if Shams is being a good boy. Yeah. So Shams is pretty much saying that the Suns were very, like, they rushed to try to go get Rasheer Fleming. The pick is in here for the Boston Celtics, it looks like. Again, they walked away with Hugo Gonzalez. I mean, think about, I mean, these picks are going to be pretty important for Boston, right? They got rid of Drew Holiday. They got rid of Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, they're trying to get under whatever the second apron or whatever. They have to figure out some cheap talent to bring in here. So these picks are going to be important. I mean, you hear a lot of people from Boston. I mean, Tim Barnard with me yesterday said, they would love to grab a big. So it looks like Shams is reporting something again now. Do we have a selection right now, or are we still reporting on a trade? This is going to be, interesting here, folks, to see how well we can keep up with this. It's going to be really tough. So we do have a proposed trade. This is not going to Boston, it looks like. This is not going to Boston. This is going to the Orlando Magic, it looks like. So Orlando is going to make the pick here at 32. So that changes things a little bit. So the Orlando Magic are on the clock here, and apparently the pick is in now for the Orlando Magic at number 32. So Orlando making the pick at this spot. Not sure what they got in return, but it looks like, okay, so here we go. We got it. So the Celtics are trading number 32 to the Orlando Magic for numbers 46, 57. So 46 and 57 in tonight's draft. Okay. A 2026 second rounder and a 2027 second rounder. Okay. So picking up a bunch of second round picks. So the Celtics are making this, are going to be making this pick, but it is for the Orlando Magic. Here's Mark Tatum as we fire up the draft chimes for this selection at 32. Wow. So the Orlando Magic here, again, this is a proposed trade, but it will end up going through. They all do. They take Noah Penda at number 32. What was he? Noah Penda was my number 38 overall player out of France. Big time defender. So small forward, 6'8", 225 pounds, 10 points a game last year. He played for Le Mans Sarth Basket in the LNB Elite League last year. 44% from the field. Very good defender, despite not being a supreme athlete. He's not a crazy athlete, but he can pick off passes. He keeps his man in front. He has elite defender upside. I'll tell you that. He's a very, very methodical and good defender. Solid court vision, pulls down rebounds, does a lot of the dirty work. This is a very team friendly, fit in everywhere kind of guy. Good feel for the game, not a great scorer. He struggles a little bit with consistency on the outside. I don't love him as a shooter. And he doesn't finish with too much authority on the inside. I don't know how much of an offensive player he's going to be, but as a defender, he should be able to contribute right away, depending on when they bring him over. Reminds me a little bit of Justice Winslow. Very interesting that Noah Penda goes right here to the Orlando Magic. So I like that. I really do. That's a good pick. So number 33, this is supposedly the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets are going to be on the clock here. Noah Penda going at 32. The Charlotte Hornets are on the clock here at 33. So let's see what we got here. Edu Thiero, Tyrese Proctor, Maxim Reynaud, Kobe Brea, and then John Tonje out of Wisconsin is another player that I'm very high on. I think he's going to be a real solid scorer at the next level. Gives me a little bit of Max Strus in his game. I like that. So let's see here. Do we have all of these guys? We do. So we can now dump this page. Perfect. So the first two picks of this round knock me off of a page. That's great. How efficient is that? Gotta love it. Noah Penda goes to the Orlando Magic. Charlotte now here. They supposedly have two picks in a row, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. So again, we'll see. This is a Hornets team that really does need everything. Yesterday, what they walked away with, they had Con Knipple at number 4, and then they walked away with Liam McNeely. So they took two big-time shooters, two big-time scorers. Knipple, more of a 3-level scorer guy. Liam McNeely, more of a perimeter shooter, but they are trying to get better offensively. It looks like that's what their identity is looking like, taking two big-time shooters that are ready. Con Knipple's going to play next year. Liam McNeely is the same way. I think Liam McNeely is going to walk in next year and start playing for them, start playing a role for them. So interesting in that regard. Charlotte right now with the pick here. It is Charlotte, Philadelphia, and then it should be Minnesota as far as I'm concerned here. 33, 34, 35, Charlotte, Philadelphia. That's what we should be seeing at this point. Again, we'll see where we are. 8:30 here on the East Coast. We're 2 picks in to day 2 of the 2025 NBA draft, the Cooper Flag draft. The Dallas Mavericks ended up having that. I think that was their only pick of this entire draft, and they walk away with Cooper Flag. Can't really complain about that. I'm interested to see what my Cavs do. They don't pick till later. They have 49 and 59. It'll be 58 because of the Knicks pick, but the pick is in here for the Charlotte Hornets. Let's see what they go with. Again, still no Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum, so we will get to that as soon as he walks over to the podium. But the pick is in here for the Charlotte Hornets, and this is a roster that can use a lot of different things. I mean, we really thought, they're trying to supplement that backcourt with LaMelo Ball, give somebody that can play in front of Brandon Miller. So let's see if they go in a different direction here from what they've done already. Maybe they supplement it with a big. They just traded Mark Williams. So do they do something along those lines? That's going to be interesting to see as well. They kind of have a hole at that spot now as well, now that Mark Williams is in Phoenix. So we'll see where they go. This is going to be an interesting little pick here. An interesting set of picks. They, like I said, with these 2 picks back to back, we'll see where they go here. But here comes Mark Tatum as we fire up the chimes for the Charlotte Hornets at number 33. Okay, so they took the Duke product. So they took Sion James out of Duke. So Sion James ends up going to the Charlotte Hornets. Big time defender. My number, what was he, 47 overall player? Maybe a little bit overzealous here at this spot here for him. But let me tell you something about him. He's 6'5", 220. Big time defender. Excellent defender. Plays really hard. Creates turnovers. He's the 4th Duke kid to get drafted in this draft so far. Really scrappy player, really scrappy, both ends, has a big stocky body. He uses it to work himself into the paint, gets rebounds, not a bad perimeter shooter off the catch. He's got some limited upside. I don't know that he ever is going to be like a star or anything like that, but Sion James is, quite the defender. Royce O'Neal is the player comparison for me. Just a really solid defender. And that's what you're getting. He's going to be a real perimeter defense kind of guy. And he's going to be switchable. I think he can handle himself. Again, he's got a big body, so he'll be able to bang around down low if he needs to as well. So Sion James goes to the Charlotte Hornets. And would you look at that, at number 34, the Charlotte Hornets are on the clock again. So we are back to it here. Sion James going to Charlotte, and now they are back again with another one at 34. So let's see. Let's check Shams, right? Again, it's going to be frequent that we have to do this. So we'll see. But 33 is Sion James. 34, yet to be determined. They are still on the clock here at 34. But I'm glad Sion James got drafted. I like seeing guys that are rewarded for effort, because that's what Sion James is. He's an effort kind of guy. He's not crazy talented as far as offensive skill or anything like he's not going to drop 30 points a game. Like, this is a guy that he's a dirty work kind of guy. It's 2 guys in a row, really. Noah Penda is the same way, where he ended up going to Orlando, and now Charlotte getting Sion James. They both are just dirty work, kind of grab boards, play defense, like dive for loose balls. Like, that's what these guys do. It's not, what you're seeing from like Ace Bailey, where Ace Bailey's a scorer. It's not Trey Johnson, where Trey Johnson's a scorer. Con Knipple, these are dirty work kind of guys. So I like seeing those guys get rewarded with earlier draft picks. And again, that's probably earlier than I would have taken him. And I'd Sion James as my number 47 overall player, because I think he's a defensive rollie. But listen, he's going to be a great locker room guy. You obviously know what kind of culture he played in at Duke. So, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So it's the Hornets again here at 34. Philadelphia at 35, Minnesota at 36. Man, my Cavs don't pick until 49. Jeez, I'm going to wait forever. Gotta wait forever for this stuff, man. But we should be right there. The pick should be in here for Charlotte. It'll be Charlotte, Philadelphia, and it looks like Brooklyn. But I think Brooklyn made that trade with Minnesota. That's what it's showing on the TV or on the television broadcast. So we'll see what happens here. But the Charlotte pick should be in. They should be in at this point. No idea where they could be going. Again, they've addressed a couple of different issues, right? They got some scorers. They addressed some defense now with Sion James, Liam McNeely, Con Knipple. I can't believe I didn't even notice that. Reuniting Con Knipple and Sion James from Duke to Charlotte. So now we're here again with the Hornets at number 34. We'll see if they, maybe they draft Tyrese Proctor and they just they fly all those Duke guys out into Charlotte just like that, like no problem. We'll see, but I'm trying to think because if they go for like a big, Ryan Kalkbrenner is somebody that could be had here. That's a good spot for him. Maxim Reynaud, I think, is a stud. I think he's a really fun player to watch. He's a little bit like Kai Jones. They might have some scar tissue with Kai Jones, but we'll see here. But let's take a gander of what they're trying to do. I really like what the Hornets have done. I really do. I mean, again, outside of, I wouldn't have traded Mark Williams, but if they were going to trade Mark Williams, the picks they've made, I think, have been really solid. Let's go back to what Charlotte is doing here with Mark Tatum at the podium. Okay, there we go. There we go. So as I said before, it was going to be it was likely going to be a good spot for him, and it seemed like, I know the Lakers were trying to trade up for him, but Ryan Kalkbrenner is now headed to the Charlotte Hornets from Creighton. Real solid player, really, really solid big man. If I can find real quick his scouting. Oh, it's right here. It's right here in front of me, of course. 7'1", 257. He is a big, big dude. 19 points a game, 8.5 rebounds. He was NCAA All-Region this past year, 3-time All-Big East, 3-time All-Big East tourney. He's won Defensive Player of the Year in the Big East 4 times. So this guy is a big-time defensive center, big-time rim protector, can finish at the rim. He's an anchor on both ends of the floor, one of the better shot blockers in the draft, averaged almost 3 blocks a game last year at Creighton. Really accomplished player, can finish at the rim with efficiency. And I don't know that he's hopeless as a three-point shooter. I do think that there might be a possibility for him as a potential guy that can space the floor a little bit. He's very slow. He's not a great athlete, and he may struggle in the screen and roll because he just simply cannot get to the rim fast enough. But this is a really solid pick at this point in the draft, getting themselves a rim-protecting center that can finish on the inside. Luke Cornett is the comparison for me. I think it's a real solid pick here for Ryan Kalkbrenner going to the Charlotte Hornets. We now move to the number 35 pick, and it is the Philadelphia 76ers who are on the clock. So Philly is on the clock here. Number 35, after Ryan Kalkbrenner ends up going to the Charlotte Hornets. They've had a really nice draft. They have had a really nice draft. So let's see. Ryan Kalkbrenner ends up going. So he is number 33 on the board. So we can eliminate that possibility. Philadelphia at number 35. What have they come away with so far in this draft? VJ Edgecombe in the first round. Did they do anything else yesterday? I don't think so. So right now it is just VJ Edgecombe for them out of Baylor. Big-time defender. So we'll see what they address as well. This is an interesting opportunity here for Philly because they've said they want to run it back. They've said they want to run it back with Paul George, Embiid, and Maxey and all of them. That's when they want to, they really want to try and run this back. So any sort of player, I think, that's ready for them now, I think is somebody they'll look at. Again, one of these shooters. I mean, like somebody like Kobe Brea makes so much sense for them. Just getting like a full-blown shooter that's going to shoot the lights out of the building, right? Kobe Brea, somebody like Elijah Martin out of Florida, right? If they want somebody a little bit more 3-and-D in that sense. I'm trying to think of just players that are pretty that are like ready now. Like they're ready to go now. Tamar Bates, I think, is a really solid shooter as well. The pick looks like it is in for the Philadelphia 76ers here at 35. So we'll see where they go. But I would imagine that what I would do is I would draft somebody now that is ready to go. Like, no, you don't have to, like, not a ton of development. Somebody that you can just kind of plug and play. Because I know, like, VJ Edgecombe, I would imagine is going to play fairly right away. And he's going to be productive for them. But any sort of player, just from a depth perspective, can they get somebody that can contribute to them right now? Because if they want to run this thing back, then I think that's what they sort of have to do. They don't have a choice. It doesn't make sense for them to try to run this thing back and then not address and pick a draft and stash kid. So it makes sense for me to try to get some real contributors that are going to make the roster. These are guys that are going to make the roster right away, not stash, not G League. Like, these are going to be ready to go guys, not end of the bench. Guys that can plug and play for 15 minutes a night. VJ Edgecombe is going to play. So that's one. So let's see if they can tab on another. I'd be really interested to see if they can do that. So here comes Mark Tatum. We are just about ready to go. Let's fire up the draft chimes here for the Philadelphia 76ers at number 35. And the Sixers at 35. Wow, okay. So there he goes. Interesting that they went in this direction. The Philadelphia 76ers select Johnny Broome out of Auburn. Love to see this. This is a ballsy pick, and I love it. I absolutely love that they went in this direction. Johnny Broome, 6'10", 249. Let me just read you the accolades of this guy. You could have made the argument that Johnny Broome was the best player in all of college basketball this past season. NCAA All-Region, consensus All-American, SEC Player of the Year, 2-time All-OVC, 3-time All-SEC, 2-time All-OVC, okay? 2-time All-OVC tourney, 2-time All-SEC tourney, SEC All-Defense, OVC Defensive Player of the Year, OVC Rookie of the Year, OVC tourney MVP. Just 2 years at Morehead State, 3 years at Auburn, and he dominated in both spots. One of the most dominant players in college basketball this past season. Great defender, very switchable. He can block shots, solid all-around offensive game. He's not a bad shooter. I don't know how much of his shooting is going to translate, but he showed some shooting promise last year at Auburn as well. He's a below-the-rim player without crazy athleticism, so that's the part that I think makes people nervous. So his upside's fairly limited, but he's very similar to Al Horford for me. If they can get some sort of production in that respect for Johnny Broome, the 76ers hit a home run here. Johnny Broome, VJ Edgecombe, that is a great draft. Great draft. Getting super upside. By the Johnny Broome, my number 35 overall player, he goes number 35. But super upside with VJ Edgecombe, and now they go with a pure production dominant force that we saw in college basketball in Johnny Broome. Absolutely love that pick. Great job by the Philadelphia 76ers. Maybe they're not hopeless after all. Oh, boy, oh, boy. We are back here on the clock. It is the Minnesota Timberwolves on the clock here. It says the Brooklyn Nets, but this is not the Brooklyn Nets. This will be the Minnesota Timberwolves on the clock. I'll get this nice dark neon green, this nice neon green here for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are on the clock here at number 36. Johnny Broome's got me fired up, man. That was a really solid pick by Philly. Really solid pick. I like that a lot. So it looks like the pick is in for Minnesota, unless this pick is moving, which is totally possible. This stuff happens all the time. So are we going to see some movement here already with Minnesota? I'm trying to check. Here we go. Okay, there it is. We do have it. The Los Angeles Lakers have acquired this pick from Minnesota. So the LA Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers. They are on the clock, and the pick is in. Let's go to the podium for Mark Tatum. This is headed to the Los Angeles Lakers. Oh, and you look at that. They do it. They do, in fact, pick the best player on the board, in my eyes. They select Edu Thiero, a great pick here by the Los Angeles Lakers. My number 21 overall player, shooting guard at Arkansas, 15 points a game last year for John Calipari. Junior transfer after 2 years at Kentucky, goes to Arkansas this past year. Tons of upside as an offensive player. He is a supreme athlete that plays above the rim. Big body, welcomes contact. He is the bully on the floor. That's I think what he should be known for. He is the bully that's on the floor, not afraid to use his body to create havoc on both sides. He's a great offensive rebounder. I think he's a big-time potential offensive player. Like I said, he's been a little inconsistent as a shooter, and he needs to become more efficient. And he's not always in the right spot defensively, but this kid's athleticism and this kid's shooting upside, I think, is real legit. Reminds me a little bit of Jaden McDaniels. I don't know. This is a great value pick here for the Lakers. I'm curious to see if they try to play him right away or if they try to develop him as well. Again, you can see the progression from what he was at Kentucky to what he is now at Arkansas. 15 points a game. I think Edu Thiero is a great pick here by the Lakers. A great job. Great job by them at this point, getting Edu Thiero. So Edu Thiero goes to the Lakers at number 36. He was my best available player. Best available player. Great pick here by the Lakers. Again, if you were not tracking, this pick was made by Brooklyn. It was then traded to Minnesota earlier today. Then Minnesota traded that pick to the Lakers. So the Lakers drafted Edu Thiero. He is going to Los Angeles. Now, I believe, making their first pick of the draft. It is going to be the Detroit Pistons. I believe the Detroit Pistons are now on the clock here at number 37. And their pick is in. Their pick is in already, it looks like. So let's see where the Pistons go with this pick. Again, Tyrese Proctor is the number one player on my board right now. He's my number 24 overall player. I'd love to see where he ends up. Maxim Reynaud, Kobe Brea is still on the board. John Tonje, and then Cam Jones out of Marquette kind of moves into the top 5 available for me. So this is going to be interesting. We'll see where Detroit goes. They have not done anything yet. They could really use some, I think, scoring help, some shooters. And this is exactly the position to be in. So, again, somebody like Tyrese Proctor fits the bill. Kobe Brea, it would not surprise me even one bit if Kobe Brea is the pick here. Would not surprise me even a little. So, the trade with Minnesota for the Lakers, just to dial it back, let's reset. The Lakers took Adu Thiero at 36. To get to 36, the Lakers sent the number 45 pick and cash to Minnesota. So number 45, which they acquired from the Bulls earlier today, they sent that pick and cash. So it looks like the chimes are in. They are making a selection during the commercial break here. We'll fire up the chimes at 37. What do we have here for 37? The Detroit Pistons. Okay, here we go. So Bryson Carver will be happy about this. Chaz Lanier out of Tennessee going to the Detroit Pistons at number 37. This is a good player. This is a very good player. This is a very interesting and exciting player to watch. 6'4", 200 pounds, 18 points a game last year at Tennessee. 18 points a game, shot almost 40% from three. All SEC. He was a fifth-year transfer from North Florida, only spent 1 year at Tennessee. Extremely talented scorer. Can really knock down threes from deep fairly consistently. One of the better all-around shooters in the draft. He can get to the rim and finish. He finds soft spots in the defense. He's a problem on the defensive end. I'll be straight up with you. He's not a great defender. He can get taken advantage of on that floor, on the end of that end of the floor. Not a great athlete, not a great ball handler. He's definitely not a lead guard. He is an off-ball guard. Reminds me a lot of Seth Curry, but if you're drafting him to score and drafting him to shoot, then it's going to be worth it. So the Pistons getting Chaz Lanier here for, listen, I think it's a great pick. Again, at this spot, you like scorers. You like guys that can score. Chaz Lanier, the number 39 overall player on my board, and he goes at 37 to the Detroit Pistons. So Chaz Lanier. Going to Detroit. This is now, okay. So on your screen, I'm sure it says that the San Antonio Spurs are making this pick. They are not. The San Antonio Spurs have traded this pick earlier to the Indiana Pacers. So the Indiana Pacers are now on the clock. So Indiana is now on the clock, and the pick is in here for Indiana at number 38. This is the number 38 pick. We are moving along here, folks. Moving along. The number 38 pick here for Indiana. Now, they have not done anything yet in this draft. I mean, listen, for a team that went on that run, I'm interested to see what they do. I wouldn't hate to see them take some sort of a point guard here. Here we go. We're right there. Draft chimes ready for Mark Tatum, the Indiana Pacers for number 38. Okay. So it is Cam Jones from Marquette going to the Indiana Pacers. Cam Jones, my number 34 overall player out of Marquette. He goes to the Indiana Pacers. 6'4", 185, averaged 19 points a game last year at Marquette. 4.5 rebounds, almost 6 assists. Consensus All-American. He was 2-time All-Big East, 3-time All-Big East tourney. He was Big East All-Freshman. Really solid scorer off the dribble. Really, really talented scorer off the dribble. Can hit jumpers at a high clip. He had a cooler second half this year, but he can really hit jumpers. He's got a real smooth left-handed stroke. Good basketball player. Just a real good basketball player. Creates turnovers on the defensive end. He's been known to kind of take some weird shots, and he's a bit undersized for a combo guard, so he might struggle a little bit defensively, but solid player. Jordan Clarkson, he can fill up the stat sheet a little bit. He can fill up the scorers table. He's a good player. So the Indiana Pacers deepen their bench here with a guy that's ready to play. Cam Jones going to the Indiana Pacers here at number 38. So Cam Jones to Indiana. The Toronto Raptors are now on the clock here at 39. So the Toronto Raptors will be getting ready to make their selection. At number 39. They took Colin Murray Boyles at number 9 in the first round. You know, kind of like a Draymond Greenish sort of player. That's who they took in the first round. So we'll see what they do. This is now Brandon Ingram. This is RJ Barrett. So I'm interested to see what this looks like for the Raptors. Again, you know, getting a strong defensive presence in Colin Murray Boyles in the first round. That seems to be what they were looking to get. If they're still looking for kind of that presence on the inside, then, again, somebody like Maxim Reynaud, I think, is somebody that you can have that fits that bill. So we'll see. We'll see what they go for. Like I said, listen, this is a draft that is so loaded with perimeter shooting, so loaded with perimeter players, and experienced guards, real experienced guards. You know, John Tonje, you know what I mean, is somebody that I think deserves a lot of respect in that. Hunter Salas, who declared last year and then went back. I mean, like I said, I'll sing his praises for all night because I think he's going to be that valuable in the future. Tamar Bates, I think, is somebody to look at. Jameer Watkins out of Florida State, another sort of 3-and-D sort of potential player. So again, it's a draft that is loaded with players like that. We'll see where all these guys are going, but so far it's Rasheer Fleming, Noah Penda, Sion James, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Johnny Broom, Edu Thiero, Chaz Lanier, and Cam Jones so far in the second round. The pick is in here for the Toronto Raptors at number 39. Again, let's take another double take here on any potential trades that are being moved, any players being moved, anything being moved. Again, it never ends. It never ends with the trades. So far it looks like we're clean. But the Raptors are on the clock here at 39. Their pick is in. And following that pick, it will be the New Orleans Pelicans at number 40. As far as I can tell. It says Washington, but I believe it will be the New Orleans Pelicans at number 40 making that pick after this one. So we are just about ready. Let's go to Mark Tatum. Fire up the draft times for the Raptors at 39. Okay, this is a very nice pick here by the Toronto Raptors, addressing a lot of different needs here. Elijah Martin heading to the Toronto Raptors. This is a really nice pick. Number 36 player on my board. This kid has Gary Payton II written all over him. I really think he's that good of a player. He's going to have quite the value going into a lot of these games with these teams. So, 6'2", 210. He's a bit undersized, 14.5 points a game. Obviously won the national championship last year with Florida, NCAA All-Tourney. 1 year at Florida. He spent 4 years at Florida Atlantic, but a very good scorer. Shoot it from all over the floor, hits pull-up jumpers fairly consistently. He can get to the rim and finish with both touch and explosiveness. He made 62% of his shots at the rim this past year. Real solid perimeter defender, real solid scorer, 3-and-D sort of player. Not a good ball handler. He's undersized for a 2-guard, but and the ball sticks to his hands. He can be a little bit tunnel visioned at times, but explosive athlete. He can really get the job done as a two-way player. Elijah Martin here going to the Toronto Raptors. Very, very good pick here for Toronto. Love that pick for them. Elijah Martin is a stud. Somebody that's very easy to take a chance on. Number 36 overall player on my board. He goes number 39. So we now move to number 40. We are officially in the 40s. It is the New Orleans Pelicans making this pick here at number 40. I know on the screen, if you're watching the broadcast, it will likely say that the Washington Wizards are on the clock. I can assure you that it is the New Orleans Pelicans that are going to be making this pick. The New Orleans Pelicans are, in fact, on the clock here at number 40. Again, hate the way the NBA does their trades. And Scott Van Pelt yesterday after the draft said the same thing. Hates the fact that these kids get drafted. It is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And they put on the wrong hat. Like, they get drafted, and they put on a hat of the team that isn't drafting them. That's not the team that drafted you. It makes no sense to me. Like, Cedric Coward yesterday got drafted by the Memphis Grizzlies at number 11. But he put on a Portland Trailblazers hat because it was their pick first. Like, I don't know. I just, because they didn't approve the trade yet. Like, I can't stand the way that the NBA does trades like that. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. It is the dumbest thing ever. But whatever. If I get a chance, I'm telling you, if I get a chance to work within the NBA, that is the first thing I change. The first thing I change. We have to figure out a way to approve trades faster. We have to. Get it done right there. Done. No trying to manage nothing. Like, just approve the trade. Just approve it. No, nothing. No funny business, nothing. Get it done. Get it done. That's what I want to see. Honestly, that's really what I want to see. The pick here is in for the New Orleans Pelicans at number 40. There were times yesterday where I got a little premature with the chimes. I know I'm trying not to do that now, but the second round moves a lot faster. It does. So I apologize if I get a little ahead of myself. So top 5 available right now. Tyrese Proctor, Maxim Reynaud is still on the board here. Kobe Brea, John Tonje, and then it is my number 41 player, Javon Small. Those are the top 5 available right now. That spans from 24 to 41. So, so we'll see where some of these guys go. But the New Orleans Pelicans are on the clock, and then following them, it should be the Phoenix Suns at 41 and Sacramento at 42. Now, it's possible that these can be shifted at some point if there are trades that I didn't track from yesterday. But as of right now, I have it as New Orleans, Phoenix, Sacramento. That's what I've got for the next 3 picks. New Orleans on the clock now, and then the remaining 2. We're almost a full third of the way through round number 2 already. Again, round 2 definitely moves a little bit faster. Now, since they moved it to the second day, it moves slower than what it used to be. The entire second round used to take an hour, like an hour and 20 minutes. That is not the case anymore. So let's go to the podium. I believe we are just about ready to go as we fire up the draft chimes for Mark Tatum for the New Orleans Pelicans at number 40. Again, first thing I change. Number 40, Micah Peavy. Micah Peavy goes to the New Orleans Pelicans at number 40. Wow. That might be a little bit of a reach for him, for me. Micah Peavy was my number 60 overall player. My number 60 overall player was Micah Peavy. So let's talk a little bit about Micah Peavy. Okay. Micah Peavy is, like I said, the number 60 player on my board. Reminds me a little bit of Justin Jackson. Small forward out of Georgetown. Okay. 6'8", 220, averaged 17 points a game this past season. All big. He was all Big East this year. 1 year at Georgetown, 3 years at TCU, and 1 year at Texas Tech to start his college career. An experienced potential 3-and-D piece. Shot very well this past year at Georgetown. Was very good in catch and shoot. Very comfortable around the elbows. A tenacious defender that can pick off passes. Averaged over around 2.5 steals a game. That's going to be the moneymaker right there for him. There are questions about whether his scoring is going to translate. He's not a great free throw shooter. Shot about 66% from the line last year. He was fairly streaky from the perimeter. Not a great ball handler. He's just an average athlete, but as a potential 3-and-D piece, it makes sense. So again, a little bit of a reach for me, but the New Orleans Pelicans going and getting their guy in Micah Peavy at number 40. So interesting pick there. So Micah Peavy goes to the Pelicans. And now, again, I believe, yep, they say it right there. The Phoenix Suns are going to be making this next pick. This was originally going to the Golden State Warriors. It is not. This will be, that's a little too bright for the Suns, right? Maybe something like that. Is that a little better? Maybe a little darker. A little darker. We're getting there together. How about that? That's perfect. There we go. Not even going to touch it. That's good. So the Phoenix Suns now on the clock here at number 41. Again, this was originally a pick for the Golden State Warriors. The Phoenix Suns are on the clock at number 41. So Phoenix, again, they took Rasheer Fleming. They took Kamon Malawach earlier in the draft. They walked away with Mark Williams. So they have definitely beefed up their front court in this draft. Now let's see if they can address I would love to see them take a point guard. I really would, because, and I would imagine that Devin Booker and Bradley Beal and Jalen Green are not all going to be on that roster. I would love to see them go after a point guard. Somebody, Tyrese Proctor is not really a facilitator. it would be interesting to see if they took like a smaller point guard, like Ryan Nembhard would be somebody that would be interesting here, right? 6 foot point guard, but led the nation in assists per game, like averaged almost 10 assists a game. So would love to see that. Javon Small is somebody that I could see in that spot as well. So again, at this point in the draft, you're just kind of picking who you like. It's nice to see teams address need at this point in the draft, but sometimes you just have you just are drafting players that make sense. You're drafting players that you believe in, that are higher on your board, and all of that. So again, we'll see where they go, but the Phoenix Suns here at number 41. It is Phoenix, Sacramento, and then I have Washington at number 43. So it'll be Phoenix, Sacramento, and Washington. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Nice, relaxing night here in the studio here, doing a broadcast for the Gryd. It feels great. The pick is in here for the Suns as we await that. ESPN is interviewing VJ Edgecombe, obviously from his hotel room. Oh, man. So let's see what we have here for the Phoenix Suns. Again, if you're watching on television, it does say that the Golden State Warriors are making the pick, but this is a pick that is headed to Phoenix. And I'm sorry if I keep repeating myself about these trades and it gets nauseating, but again, I just want to make sure that this is as like straightforward as possible. Because these NBA trades get so confusing. You know, I mean, there have been certain situations where like the team drafting the kid after it had been traded is not actually the team that's doing it. Players that are traded after getting drafted, like it's an absolute nightmare. So I think it's time again for another Shams check. Nothing from Shams. I think we're still good. We're still good. Listen, relatively smooth sailing. I mean, we've had some close calls, but I think right now we're relatively smooth sailing. So the Phoenix Suns at number 41. Like I said, I'd love to see them take a point guard. I'd love to see them take a point guard. That's something that team has missed for a number of years now. So listen, the KD, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker experiment just clearly did not work. It clearly did not work. They just did not have a facilitator to run that offense. They did not have a facilitator to run that offense. Oh, look who it is.
Hello.
Oh,
how are you?
Would you look who it is?
From carving it up via the 8 o'clock spot to the Gryd Network's draft. Yes, I am here, Mike Guido. How are you?
I'm good. Let's fire up the chimes here for the Phoenix Suns at number 41.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So Kobe Bryant goes to, and this is a very Warriors type pick, even though it's not going to the Warriors, it's going to the Phoenix Suns. Kobe Bryant is lights out from three. This kid can shoot it. Let me tell you something, okay? 6'6", 202, 11.5 points a game this past year, 43.5% from three this past year at Kentucky. He was phenomenal. Maybe the best pure shooter in the entire draft. Hits shots from all over the floor and in a multitude of ways. You cannot give this kid even a lick of space. Now, here's the interesting part. Kobe Bryant is a shooting guard, right? So they're going to have to figure out a way to space out
a lot of those.
But that's the thing, is there's not much else to his game. But at this point in the draft, you're picking him at number 41. This is just an elite shooter. Duncan Robinson is the comparison for me. He is just a masterful shooter of the basketball. He's going to walk into the NBA day one, and he's going to make it rain in that respect. So Kobe Bryant going to the Phoenix Suns at number 41.
I'll tell you what, man. Kentucky loves their shooters, right? I mean, you had Reed Shepard last year, who I think shot over 50% from three, if I'm not mistaken, who obviously went
Yeah.
third overall to Houston, is going to be a big part of their rotation. But Kobe Bryant in this spot for the Suns. It going to Phoenix is a little weird, as you mentioned, just because it feels like they're not exactly sure on that position. But I don't even view guys like him, Duncan Robinson, as you mentioned, as the quote. I kind of view them as just shooters, as if it was like its own position. Like I don't even necessarily put them in that same category as I would like a Beal or a Booker. We're not even sure if Beal's going to be there next year, but solid pick by the Phoenix Suns. And I'll admit, wouldn't hurt my Golden State Warriors if that were our pick, but we're a bit guard heavy, so we kind of need some size. So I'm totally fine with that.
Yep. Yep. The Sacramento Kings now on the clock at number 42. Bryson, I feel like we should be flip flopped here. I feel like
I know this
now I'm
is
going to be
weird.
asking you the question. This is weird. This is
Yeah.
weird. What do you think, Bryson? This is the Sacramento Kings here. They went and got Nate Clifford yesterday after a trade in the first round. What's
Yep.
another need they could look to address here at number 42?
Well, I mean, listen, Sacramento's obviously the last few years they moved Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox, trying to make some adjustments to the guard spot. I don't think it'd be a bad move to try and get another backup big for Domantas Sabonis. I think that could be it's a position they look to address. Who's the best big left on your board currently?
Maxim Reynaud out of Stanford, I think, is going to be a really solid player. He's a very interesting big. Are we
Okay.
just about ready? It looks like we are just about ready. Speeding up a little bit here. Draft chimes firing in for the Sacramento Kings at 42. And the Kings at 42 select. I guess Mark Tatum's announcing a trade. And here
Mr.
we go.
Smiles.
Mr. Smiles. Oh, and look at that. Maxim Reynaud is the guy they select at number 42. He is one of my favorite big men in the entire draft. My number 27 overall player. He is a spinning image of Kristaps Porzingis. 20 points a game last year, 10 and a half rebounds, shot about 35% from three last year. Real efficient in that department. He was all ACC, all Pac-12, Pac-12 most improved player. He is the unicorn of this draft. True 7-footer, put the ball on the deck and shoot it. Good athlete for his size. Tons of upside as a potential starting two-way center. I view him that highly. 7'1", 235 pounds. He's not an elite shot blocker at the moment. He doesn't have the best interior presence at the moment, but I think that there's going to be a future with this kid. I really think that this is a solid player, and Sacramento can make this kid a big time cog in their future.
Listen, stretch fives have kind of been the new wave in the NBA. It feels like the last decade. I mean, Porzingis was kind of one of the first guys to be able to do that. We're seeing it now recently with Chet Holmgren and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Obviously, this kid maybe not necessarily will reach what Chet could potentially do, but yeah, good fit for Sacramento. Again, like kind of the backup big, very different from Sabonis in that regard, in the fact that he is a good perimeter shooter. So solid pick here with the Kings. I like it. And listen, I call big, you call the name, so that's like the 2 for 2. We're back, Guido. We're right back on track here.
We're ready. We're ready, man. We're ready.
Absolutely.
Oh boy. But
and by the way, is my guy Chaz Lanier going to Detroit? Is that Detroit's pick?
yes, yeah. Chaz Lanier
Okay.
is going to Detroit at 37. That was not traded.
Fantastic. Okay, good fit for him there. I like Chaz. Little streaky, little boomer bust at times, but good player for sure. Really good offensively.
He's a bit undersized for like a combo guard sort of player. But yeah, it makes sense. Again, but he can score it. I mean, he really is a talented scorer. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. The Washington Wizards are now on the clock. This was a trade again that had to do with their trade yesterday with the Utah Jazz. So the Washington Wizards are now on the clock here at number 43. Now, the Wizards have done a lot in this draft so far, Bryson, where, they've addressed several different areas. I mean, yesterday, Trey Johnson ended up going to them at number 6. They drafted Will Riley. So they drafted 2 big-time scorers in this draft in the first round. What's something that they could do here at number 43?
Well, they obviously addressed the big last year with Alex Sarr, so like trying to
Yep.
again maybe they've got that aspect of it lined up. Maybe get a good sort of forward defender, a guy who can defend the pick and roll, be able to be able to switch effectively. Feel like that's something because the Wizards have been listen. The Wizards are bad at just about anything, but defensively they've just been truly abysmal over the last few
Yep.
years. So just get someone who can come in there, give them good minutes off the bench, to be able to defend effectively. And that's what Oklahoma City's done. The defending champions, their whole team is defense, but they've got a number of solid, late first round, early second round guys who are just, if nothing else, can defend the basketball effectively.
Yeah, Jameer Watkins, I think, is a solid fit for them. Florida State, uh, wing player, big time defender, questionable scoring ability at this point, but real solid defender if they were to go in that direction. I'm really interested to see where Tyrese Proctor ends up. I talked about that a little bit
Yes,
earlier because I really think that kid has some that kid has some juice. Like there's a lot to unlock with that kid. There is something there and somebody needs to tap into it. So I'd love to see where that kid ends up after the several
absolutely.
years where it almost seems like he kept going downhill at Duke after his freshman year, where his role just kept diminishing and diminishing. Obviously, last year with Flag and Knipple and all of them, but the pick is in here for the Wizards at number 43. So I'm just so interested to see where he ends up.
No question. And I think right now for it's weird. Like we're not used to seeing Duke guys stay multiple years in college. Like you would think in that coaching staff and the good program they've got there, that obviously that'd be a good sort of. I mean, we saw. I mean, Draymond Green's a prime example. Now again, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the Duke coach's name. What shoot?
John Shire.
John Shire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, John Shires and Tom Izzo, but just sort of that good basketball culture. Draymond Green's that type of guy, early second round, and we've seen that throughout NBA draft history. So surprising that's happened with this kid, especially with the upside that he brings to the table. Maybe a team that's like I use Oklahoma City with like Nikola Topic, for example, but like teams with, plenty of depth where he could come in there, probably not play a ton his first year, get some, some mop up duty minutes, but just an opportunity, maybe develop with the G League team, could really help him. But his potential is undeniable. There's no question about it.
Yep. Pick is in here for the Wizards. Mark Tatum at the podium. Announcing a trade. Again, this is a pick being made by Utah, but it is going to Washington.
All right.
What did I say? What did I say?
There you go.
We're on it. Jameer Watkins
On fire.
Washington. We could have been doing this all day yesterday, and you just bailed on me.
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna take credit for this one. I'm gonna take credit for this one. 2 for 2 right off the bat. I listen. I'm like the left tackle coming back for Mike Guido's as the quarterback, and it just stabilizes everything, right?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Jameer Watkins, small forward out of Florida State, 6'7", 210. He's a legit stopper on the defensive side. This kid is a legitimate defensive monster. Lateral quickness, active hands. He's got some of the best hands in the draft. Solid athlete, stick to his men, move off the ball. He doesn't have a bad jumper. It's not a reliable jumper at this point because he's had some really tough stretches offensively, but he reminds me a lot of Isaac Okoro, like just a very, like a decent athlete that can lock up a defender. Again, he doesn't have the crazy size, but just tenacity on the defensive side of the ball, pure off-ball player. He's got a chance to be a 3-and-D guy. So good pick here by the Washington Wizards. Again, addressing what you said, and then I attach the name to it and what happens. That's what happens here, Bryce, and that's how good we are. That's how good we've become in this environment.
Hey, listen, almost like we've been doing this for a half decade, basically. Can you believe that? By the way, it's our 5th draft show we're doing. Not again, not fifth straight start.
Our, excuse me, our.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. I know. I feel bad for that. I feel bad for them. Listen. To those out there watching, Guido has carried this thing on his back all night tonight, so I felt bad. I'm like, I gotta pick up my buddy, like especially like it's our thing, Mike. Like that, I know that we got 8 o'clock spot, and we've got other stuff we do on the grid, and all that stuff's great. But this is once a year, man. This is once every June, or I guess twice a year now with them dividing it 2 days, which I'm with you. I'm not crazy about. I kind of like the one night spectacle aspect of it, just like one big 5.5 hour just dump, especially once we get to the second round. But
Right.
fun stuff, no question. The defending champs are on the clock now. What do you think they do here?
So,
Matter of fact, before you even say anything, because they don't have much needs. Shooter, maybe go shooter here.
yeah, why not? I mean, so what did they do yesterday? They ended up taking. Okay, so they took Thomas Sorber yesterday. So they took a big yesterday. They took a backup big yesterday with Thomas Sorber, who I liked a lot actually. Yeah, I mean, listen, this draft is loaded with wing players, so why not go get yourself another shooter? And it's not like they lack shooters; they have them. But
Sure, can never have enough of them though, right?
yeah, you can
Especially
never
when
have
you're a
enough.
team that deep and that good defensively, you can certainly not have too many guys out there knocking down threes.
Right. Yeah, I'm really interested to see where they go in this spot as well. But man, oh man, I am. You know, it, I'll say this about us, Bryson,
Oh
because
yes,
the like because we do the NFL draft too, but the
we do.
NFL draft we share with other people, right? With EJ and with whoever else, right? The NBA draft is a you and me thing. Like this is our bread and butter here. We're the only two people that care about this damn thing. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been doing this. Our first 2 draft shows were on my YouTube channel. It was the Carving It Up NBA draft
that's
show.
right.
And then once
That's
the
right.
grid starts, like, okay, now we're gonna move this to the grid. So yeah, this is the man. I think, matter of fact, let's see who the pick is.
The chimes in here for the Oklahoma City Thunder at number 44 as we see Mr. Smiles announce. Oh, wow. I can't believe it.
Are you serious?
Oh, my God. I can't believe it. They took Brooks Barnheiser out of Northwestern. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
What an OKC pick.
So, OKC. So, Brooks Barnheiser is the number 65 player on my board. Okay. But
Wow.
he's got the mullet and the stash. Like, he's just the coolest guy ever. So, reminds me a little bit of Haywood Highsmith. Let me see if I can find real quick his scout. Here it is. It's right here. 6'6", 215, 17 points a game last year, almost 9 rebounds a game as a forward last year at Northwestern. Above average defender for his athletic ability. He's not a crazy athlete, but he makes up with it with his length and tenacity. He's a real try-hard kind of player. He can pick your pocket, 2.5 steals a game, knock down threes in true form. He's not really a finisher outside of the break, and he's not going to create his own shot. We'll see how his defense translates. Like I said, he's good for his athletic ability, but we'll see if he needs to guard, more athletic, speedier guys. We'll see how that translates. Suffered a season-ending foot injury last season, but listen, I love it. He's one of these guys that's just he'll be a fan favorite like right out of the gate.
Oh yeah.
So,
No, he'll be a House of Highlights favorite, like when the OKC's up by 30 with 5 minutes left in the game, and they'll be I don't know, his last name doesn't really translate to Chance per se, but like I don't know, they'll come up with a nickname for him, right? Like what do they call Austin Reed? Like
this one's a barn burner, but they'll say this one's a Barnheiser or something like that.
that's good. That's good. That works. OKC announcers will pick on that from the jump, no question. Like I said, kind of a typical OKC pick, right? Like picking a guy with, not necessarily the highest upside in the world. And I mean, like you said, number 65 player on your board going 44th. But again, when you're the champs who are that deep with that many picks, man, like you can take risks like this.
And he's not a bad player. I mean, listen,
Yeah,
he does a role. He can shoot a little bit. He plays defense, plays hard. He'll fit
he's
right
an
in.
OKC guy. He's an OKC guy, no question.
He's a beer drinking, cigar smoking, Brooks Barnheiser. I love it.
He sounds like a country music singer is what he sounds like.
Like
I mean, he looks like it, but he has the name for it. Like, listen, if he has any musical talent, he might have a career out a post NBA career.
He kind of looks like Morgan Wallen a little bit.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of. Got that look for sure.
So the
who's up next?
Minnesota
Who's up next?
Timberwolves right now, I believe, are on the clock here. They will be making this pick at number 45. This was originally supposed to be the Chicago Bulls. Then it became the Lakers. And then the Lakers traded up with Minnesota. So now this is Minnesota at number 45. So,
and
see, I think Minnesota, they took a foreign, they took a French big man. They took Joan Berenger yesterday, kind of a rim protector to play behind Rudy Gobert. What do you think they could address here?
Well, it depends on what happens. I think what is their foresight on the Naz Reid situation? Because Naz Reid could end up leaving in free agency. Mike Conley is getting older. I know they did address the guard position last year, so they're probably good in that spot. Obviously, we know who Anthony Edwards is. I wouldn't mind if they decide to get some a potential like stretch five guy. I know they just took a big, but somebody who could play that Naz Reid role were Naz Reid to leave. Again, like it's continue to play. That's what Oklahoma City just took the pick before, right? Like guys who can shoot threes, play great defense. Somebody who can translate to the big lineup that Minnesota likes to throw out there at times with Reed and with Gobert. I would not be against them going a big in the spot, but again, maybe a backup for Julius Randle wouldn't hurt as well. But I'll say a big stretch five.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there is if
there are any good ones left on the board. That is,
I mean, Bogolyub Markovic, who killed the NBA pre-draft process, like really did well in all the combine scrimmages and all of that stuff. He's available. He's my number 49 overall player. He can really stretch it, and he's got like a dog in him. He gets kind of chippy. Like he's argues with refs and all that stuff. Like he's kind of cool in that respect. Eric Dixon out of Villanova is an interesting player. He's like Mo Spates. He's like 260 pounds, but he led the nation in scoring. He averaged like 24 a game last year at Villanova. So it'll be interesting to see if they go in a direction like that. It looks like the pick is in here. Mark Tatum making the pick for the Minnesota Timberwolves at number 45. Looks like he is announcing a trade again. I actually like it now that he's doing that because it gives me time to, get everything set and
100%.
Yeah, you know.
it's not as easy as it looks, Mike. I'll tell you that right now. I will openly I will confess something after this pick comes in.
So it is Rocco Zikarsky heading to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So another guy who has eclipsed the top 60, the number 61 player on my board goes right here. Center out of Australia. He is quite a big guy. This guy's massive. If I can find his scouting report and make it easy on myself, here we go. 7'3", 257 pounds.
Dang.
This guy, Rocco Zikarsky, played for Brisbane in the NBL last year. Crazy size, crazy strength. And he does all the things a traditional center of his size would do. He can finish at the rim, good for offensive rebounds and putbacks. He puts everything back. Really solid shot blocker, runs the floor well. He doesn't have a terrible shooting stroke, but I just don't see it translating very much. Suffered a knee injury last year that really impacted him. And he just did not have a good year last year in the NBL. So teams are kind of taking a risk on him. Not a reliable post game. But Luke Longley of the old Chicago Bulls is the comparison here. Just a big, lane-clogging big going to the Minnesota Timberwolves here. So that's two big dudes.
That's our identity. That's what they like to do. Like, again, just trying to add size to the front court, particularly the center position. Again, I was thinking more stretch five, but that's not a bad pick at all, based on what Minnesota likes to do and wants to do as a basketball operation.
Yeah, maybe they just see his shooting ability a little bit more than I do, because he has hit. I mean, what did he shoot last year from three before the injury? He shot 20% from three on low volume. So, I mean, there's not much to write home about there, but I wouldn't rule it out. So this is now the
a lot of this is
Boston
developing.
Celtics.
So this is Boston's pick.
This is now Boston's pick.
Okay.
If I can get a little bit of a darker green. The Boston
You want to talk
Celtics.
about an active team last week?
Yeah, no kidding. So they drafted Hugo Gonzalez yesterday, which knocked Tim like out off of his side. Oh, the pick is in already. Oh my goodness.
Okay, that was quick.
I'm not even going to play the chimes. But okay, so here's the size that Tim was waiting for. So it is Amari Williams out of Kentucky. He goes to the Boston Celtics. This is my number. What is it? Okay, so more players eclipsing my top 60. This is my number 64 overall player here.
Man.
Amari Williams going to the Boston Celtics, but they needed size, Bryson. This is a team that needed size. So listen, about 11 points a game, 8.5 rebounds. His biggest strength is his passing ability. This is a big time, like central hub passer for a big man. Finish strong under the rim. He's got some ball handling ability, but his moneymaker is going to be sitting at the top of the key and distributing. This is a good passing big man. He does struggle in a lot of other areas. He's 6'11", 255. He's not a shooter. He's not ever going to be a shooter. He's not a mid-range shooter. He does not have a jump shot. Anything outside of like 5-6 feet from the basket is no good for him. He'll get left open on the perimeter. Not much of an interior presence as a defender, but this guy is a playmaking big. Reminds me a little bit of Aaron Baines. And again, that's somebody that they're familiar with. So interesting pick here by the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, no question. Again, you said good passing big. Like that helps, given that this is a team that likes to shoot the three. Shoot the three is more than anybody in the league by a healthy margin. So, listen, potential like pick and roll partner, opportunity to kick it to other guys in the corner, a Derek White or somebody like that. Again, it looks a little bit different with Jason Tatum out next year. But listen, by trading Porzingis, they needed a good, strong interior presence, and now they've got it. Different player than Porzingis, obviously, but they've got it.
So, Amari Williams going to the Boston Celtics. We now move for their first pick of this draft. We go to the Milwaukee Bucks. So they are on the clock here. Let me go a little bit of a darker green for
a little bit darker than Boston. Yeah,
the Milwaukee Bucks right here. See, Bryson, me needing to man the fort in this instance has made me appreciate what you do even more. Because this is
you know what,
a lot of moving pieces.
Honestly, what I would usually do is like have the color code like already. Like I have it like written down on my phone. I would just like type in a few digits and have that ready. But listen, you've done a fantastic job. Like you can't tell that this has been like your first new experience doing this. And while you're hosting, you've done a fantastic job. Gosh, what was I going to say earlier about something we were saying about? Oh yeah. So when it comes to when you put the picks on the screen, and I will openly confess this to the audience, I would have analysis in my head. Like, okay, here's what I'm going to say because this is actually what I believe now in the moment. I would cheat basically by looking at Sham's Twitter and say, okay, here's the pick. Let me go and have this ready. Stay with the analysis I had in my head originally. Roll with that. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, just be wrong for 30 seconds and then go with the pick. I will openly admit that to the audience and to you. Just want to listen. Trying to be ahead of the game. Didn't want to be like typing, make something wrong. So
there's no way you called Josh Primo that many years ago, just like off the top of your head.
No,
There's no way. I knew it.
Nope.
I got a feeling they're going Joshua Primo. I'm like, there's no way. I knew it immediately. I'm like, you looked at Woj, didn't you? Like, there's no way.
The secret is out. I'm exposed. I'm exposed right now. That's what happened.
Finally, I got him after all these years.
Primo. I forgot about that. Oh man.
Yeah, that was. He got in some trouble, I think. So.
I remember that. It was a couple of years ago.
He flashed himself to a reporter or something like that, and he got in a lot of trouble. I forget what it was, but the pick for the Milwaukee Bucks is in. It is Milwaukee, Memphis, and then Cleveland. Listen, listen. If Tyrese Proctor makes it to Cleveland, wow. Okay.
Oh, this is This is what's his name that got drafted a couple of years ago. You had like top 5, and he went in the 50s. Where is he even? Is he on the roster?
Amani Bates, he's still there.
Amani Bates.
Yep. All right, let's fire up the draft chimes here for Mark Tatum. The Milwaukee Bucks at number 47. Oh, here we go. Good old Bogolyub.
Ah, there it is.
Bogolyub Markovich goes to the Milwaukee Bucks. You have any idea how many times I needed to practice saying this guy's name? Like,
Bogolyub.
Markovich is easy. His first name is Bogolyub.
Has to be the first in the history of the NBA draft. Has to
There's
be.
no way that anybody in the history, you're right, anybody in the history of the NBA has ever been named Bogolyub before. But listen, this kid's got real upside, man. Played for KK Mega Basket in Serbia, 6'11", 195 pounds. This guy gets chippy. He really is like he's Nemanja Bjelica. You know, like that's the kind of player that he is. Good floor spacer, very reliable shooter. He has a big body with a nice release. He does need to bulk up a little bit. He should do well finishing inside. Solid passer. He's just a traditional Euro stretch four. Like that's kind of what he is at this point. I'd imagine he's draft and stash. He doesn't offer too much on the defensive side, but as a shooter, stretch four kind of player, you know, that's not a top tier athlete, and he can get a little chippy. It's an attitude thing. So this is a solid pick here for Milwaukee. He was my number 49 overall player. So,
well,
like
considering they're going to, in all likelihood, lose their top 2 bigs with Brook Lopez, you know, who's a free agent, and Bobby Portis potentially could get moved. I'm pretty sure Bobby Portis is still under contract. That could be a sign and trade depending on what happens. Yeah, listen, they need depth at the power forward and center position, so that's not a bad pick by Milwaukee at all.
Right. So now we move to the Memphis Grizzlies, who traded up yesterday to go get Cedric Coward out of South Carolina.
You mean Colin Coward?
Colin Cowherd, yeah. As Malika Andrews said,
happens to all of us.
During the entire draft, I didn't know that that's what actually happened. So,
yeah, I saw. I was watching y'all's coverage, and I actually saw Cowherd's tweet. I was like, "What is he talking about?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Listen, I remember the Moses Moody moment with Kendrick Perkins years ago. Happens to the best of us. It happens.
So the pick is in. We're starting to move now here. Like I said before, so Javon Small is the pick here for the Memphis Grizzlies at number 48. I love this kid, number 41 on my board. West Virginia reminds me a lot of Scary Terry. I think this kid is real good in that respect. If I can find, again, it takes me a while to find these scouting reports. Here we go. Perfect. 18 and a half points a game. He's 6'2", 190, all Big 12, 1 year at West Virginia, 1 year at Oklahoma State, 2 years at East Carolina. But last year with West Virginia, really solid build for a smaller guard. He's built like a tank. This kid can really move, good playmaker. The ball doesn't stick to his hands. He's a tough defender, never gives up on a play. He has upside as a shooter, had a 40.5-inch max vert at the NBA Combine. This kid's a very solid athlete. He doesn't have much of a quick first step. His lateral quickness isn't great. Verticality is great, but and he has been known to turn the ball over a little bit, but he reminds me a lot of Scary Terry Rozier. He's one of my favorite point guards in the draft. I really like this kid a lot.
Solid pick. The Terry Rozier comparison is apt. And again, obviously Memphis moving Desmond Bane again could use some guys in there who can give them good minutes offensively and could shoot the basketball. Solid pick by Memphis.
Okay, Bryson, now it's time to sweat. I mean, not like I'm really sweating. It's the 49th pick of the draft, but it is time for my Cleveland Cavaliers at number 49.
Here we go. Proctor time?
Listen, dude. Don't get my hopes up.
Well, I mean, listen, quick story. So if I've openly confessed that I've cheated on Shams and previously Woj's Twitter, I'll never forget when I saw Woj say that Amani Bates is going to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I had to keep it in, not saying it, but I wanted to just die laughing on the spot. I'm like, keep it in. This is gonna be an awesome moment for Guido. I think it got us some good traction on social media. That was a cool moment. I'm not gonna lie.
That was something.
That was pretty hilarious.
I was the only nutcase that ranked Imani Bates. I had Imani Bates ranked as my number 6 overall player. I would have taken him top 10, and the Cavs picked him at 49. It was like they did it specifically for me. It was unbelievable. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, it was. It definitely was.
Oh my god!
Picks him up for the Cavs.
That was terrific.
Who do you want here? Obviously Proctor, but what would you like Cleveland to do here?
I mean, they've needed a backup big for a while now, like a true backup big. So I mean, I'm trying to think of who's available now as far as a center, because they pretty much all the centers are gone. Zakarski's gone. Amari Williams is gone. Lachlan Ulbrich is somebody they could look at, but he's pretty far down the board. Dylan Cardwell out of Auburn, the other center next to Johnny Broom, who's a mammoth, is somebody they could look at. I don't know. I'm really interested to see where they go, what direction they go, and it's really tough to be upset of what they do here, but it looks like the pick is in as we fire up the chimes for the Cavaliers during a commercial break. Oh my God, it's Tyrese Proctor. There's no
stop
way.
it.
It's actually Tyrese Proctor. Oh my God. That is insane. Oh my God. Now, this
Second
is
time
not
in 3 years, ladies and gentlemen.
This is not
unbelievable.
The same. Okay, so this is not exactly the same as what it was years ago with Imani Bates. But Tyrese Proctor was my best player available, man. He was my number 24 overall player. This is great value and such gosh, I don't know. It's tough to not be fully elated with this. Fully elated.
Awesome value.
I think I just put my screen to sleep. Here we go. All right. So Tyrese Proctor going to the Cavs, 12.5 points a game. Dangerous perimeter shooter. Lights out from off the catch. Does well creating his own shot. Solid athlete. The issue with him, Bryson, and you and I obviously both know this as well, watching Duke, it seems like he hasn't progressed as much as people would like to have seen over his past couple of years. His role kept diminishing, but I kept saying there is something in the tank with this kid. Somebody needs to unleash the beast with this kid. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it, baby. I love that. I love that Cleveland takes gambles like this. I love it.
Well, and also, by the way, the thing that's different this go around with Imani Bates, at least when he was drafted, is Kenny Atkinson not one of the premier development coaches in all of basketball? I think we've seen that in Brooklyn. He was great in his time in Golden State under Kerr, and we saw what he did last year with the Cavs. That's a really, really good spot for a kid like that to be going to. So great pick by Cleveland.
I love it. They win the draft. Don't care. And they're not done yet. They have a pick later, but boy, Tyrese Proctor.
The basketball gods have smiled in a commercial break. And listen, one could argue the best player in basketball was drafted during a commercial break. A Taco Bell commercial was Nikola Jokic.
True.
So listen,
that is just true.
Just because they go to commercial does not mean that your fate has been sealed.
The New York Knicks, by the way, are now on the clock. Boy, am I excited about that. Tyrese, I cannot obviously I'm happy about it because he's a good player, but I'm just I'm elated because how crazy is that just keeps happening? I don't understand it. I don't understand.
It's the basketball gods smiling upon you for your tireless work on the draft process. Okay, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Listen,
because what they're saying, what the basketball gods have said is listen, it disrupts the basketball universe for Cleveland to be long-term successful beyond the second round of the playoffs. They're like, you know what? Mike Guido's one of the most devoted fans. He loves the game. He loves the draft. Let's give him a reward here and give him a good player here in the second round.
I love that. I'm telling you, Tyrese Proctor. I have loved Tyrese Proctor since he was a freshman. And it just, I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. It's the best possible pick they could have made in that spot.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I love it. The New York Knicks are on the clock here. All right, Bryson, what are we thinking? What's a need that they could address? Again, we're at pick number 50, so you're less picking for need now, but what's
Sure.
something that they could look to address here?
Well, they have one of the weakest benches in basketball, so honestly any position, that you could bring a guy off the bench and him give you good minutes. Just more of a ready-made player, guy that spent multiple years in college. Not someone who's necessarily going to be a draft and stash or a project. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of who's one of the better guards who's on the board, because I think a solid,
So
guy who can give you like 7-8 minutes for Jalen Brunson could help.
So John Tonje is the best shooting guard. Is the best player on the board for me right now. He's my number 32 overall player. Reminds me a lot of Max Strus. If they wanted to go point guard, I mean, I don't know that they need a point guard, but somebody like Ryan Nembhard is somebody that they could look at. Mark Sears out of Alabama, I think, is somebody they could look at as well.
Sears is a good player.
So, I mean, again, they can go in a bunch of different directions. I'll be interested to see what they do. Their pick is in. We have not gone to the podium yet. But listen, we'll whoever they draft, it'll be maybe they draft Eric Dixon and just stay with the whole Villanova trend and pair. I mean, they weren't not like they were teammates or anything, but
sure. Add him to the CU again commercial with the three Knicks
right,
who are Villanova guys and
DiVincenzo and everything like
yes.
that.
That was one of my favorite commercials. Fantastic. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was crazy for a second until the cat trade they were gonna be teammates.
Okay, so this is actually okay. So this is a very uneventful pick for the Knicks. They take Kobe Sanders here out of Nevada. This is a very unexciting pick. The number 62 overall player on my board. If I had to describe him in one player, Bryson, he is Kenrich Williams. Like he's that kind of like wing player that, he doesn't really move the needle in a lot of ways. If I could find his scouting report, that would be fantastic. Okay, here it is. Perfect. 6'7", 205, 16 points a game last year. He's an experienced player. He spent 4 years at Cal Poly before ending up at Nevada. Confident he can increase his percentages. He's a solid perimeter scorer, smooth shooting stroke. He just like nothing sets him apart. You know what I mean? Like he's just sort of like a wing player, could be 3-and-D, traditional wing, not crazy athletic. He's Kenrich Williams. That's what he is.
Well, here's what I'll also tell you is that Shams literally just tweeted, I saw on my phone, that he has been moved to the Clippers. So he's on the LA Clippers now.
Okay, so Kobe Sanders is being moved to the Clippers.
According to Shams, yes, he just the Knicks have moved Kobe Sanders to the Clippers. Source still tell ESPN. Knicks now have number 51. So this is the Knicks pick.
Okay.
So
all right.
Last second, yeah.
Clippers. Okay, so because I am OCD, here's what I'll do. That's not purple. They're not purple. They're not purple.
Stop being blue purple. For Clippers?
Yes.
Okay.
Kobe Sanders. There we go. He goes to the Clippers now. So now let's go back to what we had before, to the Knicks.
Yes.
He's not a Knick, but they are on the clock again now at 51. God, we were so close to just being super clean and everything.
And in the NBA draft last second trade, I'm sure it's probably for like cash considerations given where we're at in the draft. Quickly though, because I actually didn't see y'all's reaction for this. What were the New Orleans Pelicans doing yesterday, Mike? What was that?
I was so focused on like keeping everything running that it didn't even process in my mind that they gave up a first round pick unprotected next year that could be like a top 5 pick.
That's what I'm saying. As bad as New Orleans is, that could be very valuable.
They must view Derek Queen like a top 5 player. Like that's the only way that makes sense for me, is if they like saw Derek Queen and were just like, we can't miss out on him. That's the only way that makes sense for me. Like I can't even begin to describe what the Pelicans are thinking in that respect.
it's almost like a lack of self-awareness for where they're at as a franchise right now. Like they're
Yeah,
kind of in this in between, like is Zion still the guy? We haven't moved. Sort of what Tyler was bringing up earlier in y'all's show is they moved CJ McCollum's now kind of the veteran presence is gone. Like they're kind of directionless as a franchise. That's not anything new for them. But yeah,
right.
that was. Atlanta had to be just thinking, yeah, thank you, absolutely.
Yeah, well, right, exactly. Like what I just don't understand what the thought process is unless they, like I said, genuinely viewed him as a like potential superstar center, which I
Sure.
don't know that you can see that because like I don't know that Derek Queen is that kind of player. So, all right, let's go to the draft chimes. This is going to the Knicks.
Yes.
So, the Knicks at 51. Okay. So the okay, this is a little bit this is very Knicks. It is very Knicks to do this. They drafted draft and stash. It is Mohamed Diawara out of
Okay.
France. So so they traded away the number 62 player for the number 66 player on my board. So Mohamed Diawara is number 66. He's interesting. I'll tell you that. He's a very interesting player. 6'9", 223. There's not a lot of tape on him. That's really the thing. Played for Cholet in the LNB Elite League last year. He's very intriguing. He's draft and stash, a lot of tools on both sides of the ball. Very raw prospect. He can be a deterrent on the defensive side. Shows a lot of offensive promise. He's just an extremely raw player. He's going to need a couple of years overseas to really make a difference. So, again, Wenyen Gabriel is the comparison right now, but I think he could be a little bit more than that. He's got good size, good length, but he's a project. It's a long-term investment the Knicks are making in Diawara right now.
Well, it's an odd pick because, like I said beforehand, before the previous pick was traded to the Clippers, is that again they need as much help and come off the bench as they can. Again, now some of the Knicks bench problems are attributed to Tibbs just did not believe in the bench, but at the same time there is an element of man like there's a war of it's a war of attrition. The NBA season, like again, like a nice sort of combo guard to come off the bench for Jalen Brunson for 7-8 minutes a game, like couldn't hurt the situation. We'll see what they do in free agency, but it could have helped them to go in the draft, but. Listen, this is what they decided to do, and Leon Rose is, there's a reason he's a GM and I am, and I'm not. So there you go.
Well,
Who's up now?
We have reached that time, Bryson, where it is your Golden State Warriors on the clock here at number 52. So this is a trade. This is from the Suns, but this is being traded to the Golden State Warriors. The Knicks
traded our 41 pick earlier.
They can't just have a normal draft. They have to trade something, right? So did we ever get a return on what the Knicks trade is? Knicks moved Kobe Sanders to the Clippers. The Knicks now have 51. So they traded Kobe Sanders for Mohamed Diawara, and that's it as of right now, which I don't think makes any sense. But
I guess just wanted to move spots to get their. I don't know. Yeah, that's an odd one. No, yeah, Golden State obviously moved the 41st pick. I was under the impression, to be honest with you, Mike, that because of the Jimmy Butler trade and all the picks that they had to give up with that second round picks, as we're learning, as we saw at the Houston trade for Kevin Durant, like if you just stash enough of them, that can actually be quite valuable for you to get an impact player. But moving the 41st pick for multiple second rounders, I like that move by Dunleavy. Listen, last year's second round pick, and I mistakenly said in our show last year that was going to OKC, but I think it was OKC's pick, Warriors pick that was going to OKC that then actually went back to Golden State. The NBA is really good with with making this as lit as
complicated,
totally not confusing. Yes, but it was Quentin Post who ended up being a really impactful player for us off the bench, started some games. So and Dunleavy we trust here. So I'm curious to see what we do.
So we are just waiting here for the announcement of the pick, but the pick is in right now for the Golden State Warriors at number 52. So let me just see. Do I have
mine more size, by the way?
Okay. Yep. All right. So they skipped it on the screen, but I do know who it is. It is Alex Tui out of
Okay.
Australia. So Alex Tui, the number 55 overall player on my board. Bojan Bogdanovic, small forward, 6'7", 205. He just looks like a typical Euro player. Moves fluidly around the court. Nice form on his jumper. Weaving in and out of traffic when driving. Very good defender, despite not being a great athlete. He's just not a good athlete. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing that'll hit him. He'll struggle more against agile players. He's not much of a playmaker, but he's a traditional kind of Euro wing where he can stretch the floor. He's a smart player, all of those things. So nothing that jumps off the page, but a valuable piece here for the Warriors and Alex Tui.
Yeah, listen, I'll take it. Again, somebody who moves around the floor well, and that will fit in the Steve Kerr system. Fine, coming off the bench, seeing what he's able to produce. Warriors are one of the deepest teams in the league, so how many minutes he'll actually get is obviously in year one is going to be limited. But hey, welcome Alex to the Golden State Warriors. We'll take him. What's sad about that is that in 2021, I when Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody were drafted, I said, gentlemen, you're about to get fitted for rings in 9 months or in 12 months. And that actually ended up being the case. And so, of course, I said the next year when I think we drafted Patrick Baldwin in the first round, who's now no longer with the franchise. And I don't say that anymore because I don't feel as confident about that, Mike. That's the glory days may have passed. They may have passed. And I don't like admitted that on air.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But
Utah on the clock, though.
Yes.
By the way, man,
number 53.
What a gutsy thing to draft Ace Bailey at number 5. I was
Yeah.
as shocked as you guys were. That was, and it was a weird moment at the press conference where he was like, "Hey, kind of just is what it is now." Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, like doesn't seem like he's thrilled to be there because we knew he wasn't coming in. So that was an interesting move by them for sure.
Quite look upset though. Like
it no.
He didn't. It wasn't like a damn. Like I can't. Like I told him not to pick. Like very odd what that situation has looked like. The pick is in here for the Utah Jazz at number 53. Mark Tatum walking up to the podium here. Okay, so they take the best player available on my board. They take John Tonje out of Wisconsin. He is headed to the Utah Jazz. This is a very, very good pick by them. Shooting guard out of Wisconsin, 6'5", 222, averaged almost 20 points a game at Wisconsin last year. 46.5% from the field, 39% from three. Consensus All-American, all Big Ten tourney. Big time scorer. He can score from all over the floor. He hit 42% of his catch and shoot threes and 35% of his off the dribble threes. This guy can really shoot it from deep. Not a bad athlete. He can be crafty at the rim, can draw contact among the best in the draft, and he's a 91% free throw shooter. So he draws contact and then he hits his free throws. He's on the older side. 6 years of college basketball is under this kid's belt. Not a great handle, and not a terrible defender, but not great. But he reminds me a lot of Max Strus. He's one of these like swing wing sort of players. I think he's going to have an NBA career. This is one of these players that's been around for a long time, knows what it's like. This is a good pick here by Utah. They've done really well. Ace Bailey and John J are very good picks by this team.
Shooters last a long time in the NBA, Mike. You can never have enough of them, as we were talking about earlier. So yeah, guy who can come in, knock it down by the way, is crazy efficient. From the field and was at Wisconsin on pretty good volume there. So yeah, very solid pick by the Utah Jazz. I actually like this a lot, especially at 53.
At 53, getting value.
Yep.
So the Indiana Pacers are now on the clock here at number 54.
Speaking of teams that get good value in the draft, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding. Absolutely no kidding on that. So the Indiana Pacers are now on the clock at number 54. The pick is in for them. What did they go with earlier? They did take somebody earlier. They took Cam Jones earlier, so they added a wing to their to the mix there. I mean, this is a team that went on a hell of a run, Bryson. What's something that they can look to improve on here?
I mean, I don't know. It's again, depth wise, they've been fine. I saw a backup big for Miles Turner probably couldn't hurt matters, right? I mean, then
Yeah.
the problem is, as you mentioned, most of the good centers, at least based on where we're at in the draft, are off the board.
Mhm.
So there's risk there. But again, just getting more size couldn't hurt their case at all.
So the best player on the board still for me is Hunter Salas. It's Hunter Salas, Ryan Nemhard, Tamar Bates, who I'm very big on. I think he's a phenomenal shooter. Tamar Bates, RJ Luis out of St. John's, and then Will Richard out of Florida. Those are right now my best available players at the moment. Eric Dixon up there as well. Bryce Williams out of Nebraska is a very interesting player. I'm going to be, I want to see if Dink Pate gets drafted, right?
Okay.
The G League kid played for Mexico City in the G League this past year. Super athlete, doesn't have a refined skill, but this kid is like a ball of clay. Like you can mold him into pretty much anything you want. I really want to see if Dink Pate gets drafted.
I'm interested to see. Do you think Ryan Nemhard is related to Andrew? Correct.
Yes. Yep. Younger brother. Younger brother.
And it's on the.
They're not all that similar though. Andrew Nemhard is a much more like tailored scorer kind of player.
Oh,
Ryan
absolutely. No, I
Nemhard,
remember. I
straight
loved
up,
him out of the draft when he came out. Yeah.
that kid is a straight up distributor. And Andrew Nemhard's like 6'5", 6'6". Ryan Nemhard's 6 feet. So he's a much smaller guard. And listen, I like him, and I always have faith in these smaller guards. I always try to have faith in those guys. But boy, it is a tough track record, especially recently, of small guards like that really making it successful in the NBA. It's tough.
No question, it's tougher to make in the NBA because so much of the league is just straight genetics. And
Mhm.
there's a reason we've only seen one small guy lead a dynasty, and another small guy kind of lead like a mini dynasty with Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons. Like it's just it's basic math and genetics. It's just harder to do. So
It
I
is.
think
It
you're spot on
really
the
is.
money on that for sure.
So it is Indiana, and then it should be Chicago at number 55, and then it is Memphis at 56,
Okay.
even though it's technically 57 because the Knicks had 56 and they forfeited it. But um,
Okay.
so we are just a mere 6 picks away from the end of this NBA draft. The second round definitely does move quicker, but since they moved it to the second day, they have kind of, stretched it out a
Yep.
little bit more and given each pick a little bit more time. Draft chimes here for the Indiana Pacers. They're making their selection now at number 54. All right, Bryson, and I lost. I did not get them all this year.
I was just about to ask you.
They took Talon Peter out of Liberty. I have not scouted Talon Peter. So he goes to the Indiana Pacers at 54. I wish I had something to tell you about him, but I don't. So Talon Peter goes to the Indiana Pacers.
Man, listen, last year was your first time doing it, correct? Because I remember it being like a huge deal, and we were like just on pins and needles at pick 60.
Yeah. And it was the least amount of players I had scouted beforehand, too. I think I only scouted fully 70 players, and I got them.
That's pretty
Which
remarkable.
I did not.
Yeah.
I didn't. But the year before that,
Your team did it to you, yeah.
My team. Well, no, it was the Grizzlies that did it to me the year before that because I had scouted 120 players, full draft profiles on 120 players. And I remember that the Grizzlies took Tariq Baburovich with the third to last pick in the second round. And I went on Twitter that night and everybody said the same thing. Like, nobody scouted this guy. Like, there was no
Who is
way.
he? Who is this guy?
Right, exactly. No way. So Talon Peter Talon Peter is the guy that breaks it for me. But now this is the Chicago Bulls. This was originally the Laker pick. But since they have traded up, so the Chicago Bulls are now on the clock here at number, what is this? 55?
55. Okay.
So the Chicago Bulls are on the clock. And I believe also their pick is in. So 55. Talon Peter. If I can get caught up at some point, I'll find something on Talon Peter.
No, please do. Yeah. Because I know, listen, with, again, as deep as Indiana is, like, he's not gonna be a guy that necessarily gets minutes for him. I mean, could get moved before the night's over. Who knows? But we'll see what they do. So Chicago pick is in. I'm trying to think what they should do, because Kobe White could be on the trading block. So maybe they could use some depth at guard potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because Giddy, I mean, Giddy's not like a traditional like guard forward, per se, but I wouldn't hate the Bulls going guard here. Would you, Mike?
No. I mean, what did they do in the first round? Did they do anything in the first round? They took Noah Senge. So yeah, they could.
Oh.
So apparently their pick was already made and I missed it. But so
Got
who
traded?
did they take? No, I'm looking for who they just took. The Bulls took who? All right, Gavoni. All right, so nobody knows. I guess nobody knows who the Bulls just took. Lachlan Ulbrich. That's who it is.
Okay.
They took Lachlan Ulbrich. Okay, so Lachlan Ulbrich is the number 67 player on my board. He is a very, very interesting player because he shouldn't be a draft prospect, but he is. Like, he's just very, very productive. Let me type him in here. So Lachlan Ulbrich is the pick here for the Chicago Bulls. Very interesting player because played for Illawarra in the NBL last year. Solid finisher at the rim. He plays below the rim, but has real soft touch. Decent rebounder, does fairly well in screen and roll. He's not really a shooter. Draft and stash kid. Athleticism's not really a focal point. So like there's not much to his game right now, but he's like a Jock Landale kind of player, 6'10", 230. Like, if in a couple of years he figures it out and can pick up a jump shot along the way, then you've got something.
Okay, not a bad pick at this point in the draft.
Yeah, it's draft and stash. Very much draft and stash.
Is Memphis up next?
Yes, this is the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay. So Memphis, they were pretty recent, about what, 5-6 picks ago?
Yeah. Yeah, Memphis ended up taking taking Javon Small before the Cavs took Tyrese Proctor.
So maybe Cleveland trades back up and to 50. I guess that'd be 58 at that point.
Yes.
Get lucky again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Proctor's pretty good. The value you guys got for them. That was a very good pick by the Cavs front office.
They've been doing well in drafts recently. They really have. They have done really well. I mean, even Jalen Tyson that they took last year was very productive in the minutes he played this year. Right. Very productive. So, Evan Mobley and they've done very well.
Mobley's the big one, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was the obvious one too. I mean, when they got the number 3 pick, I mean, Evan Mobley, how close is Evan Mobley to being the best player in that draft?
Well, see, that 21 draft, that was Cade Cunningham. Yep. Who was 2? Who had the second? He was drafted 3rd.
That was Jalen Green.
Okay. Yeah, I'd definitely take Mobley over Green. Yeah, as you guys learned this week from the Kevin Durant show, I'm not as big of a buyer in Green as most. Gosh, who was in that? I'm trying to remember. That was our
Scotty Barnes was in that draft as well.
Boy, what robbery that Barnes got Rookie of the Year over Evan Mobley. That was messed up.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Again,
what crap.
I get it. Like, the Raptors made the playoffs that year, but we knew who the better player was. And no disrespect, Scotty Barnes, but come on.
Evan Mobley, listen, Evan Mobley, to me, and maybe I'm saying this because I'm a Cavs fan, but Evan Mobley is damn near close, if not the best defensive player in the sport.
Best defensive player in the sport.
It's him or better. Jaren Jackson?
Oh, Jaren Jackson can't stay out of foul trouble. Can I tell you who I think very different position but has an argument?
Who?
Lou Dort. And that's not just recency bias in the finals. The dude is a freaking truck defensively. Like, just does not give up ground whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah. Lou Dort's a menace.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've been a Lou Dort fan since I remember really kind of locking in on him in the bubble when Oklahoma City was down there in Orlando. I love his game, love it.
And Lou Dort was undrafted. Like Lou Dort, that's the thing. So Lou Dort is very similar to Christian Wood, right? When Christian Wood went undrafted, and it was, I want to say it was 15 or 16 that Christian Wood went undrafted. Christian
15.
Wood was supposed to be a late first round pick. So when everybody was surprised that he was good, I was like, he's a first round talent. Like, same thing with Lou Dort. Lou Dort was supposed to be a first round pick and went undrafted.
Right.
So I don't know. Sometimes you just like overthink it. But
sure.
The pick is in here for the Memphis Grizzlies at number 56. They have not announced it yet. We've kind of gotten to the point where like it's a lot of commercials now. So
I bet, yeah. They're filling in airtime.
Here we go. Shams. Here's Shams. What does this mean?
Should I do the Windhorst meme? What does this mean for the Memphis Grizzlies?
It looks like nothing. At the moment, it looks like nothing.
Okay. So no man, shockingly little trades in the second round. I'm noticing this is weird.
We've had some very minimal movement. Well, but that's the thing though, is like all of the movement in the second round happened before today. Like it happened before the draft. So there were like 4 second round draft trades today, but they
including before the very first pick. Yeah,
right, exactly. So really interesting. But
for sure. But usually it feels like it's every like 3 or 4 picks or so. Like it's, I mean, ESPN's got the graphic for this team. Like, and I saw Scott Van Pelt, and I could not agree more with this. But the cap problem with with the NBA. I mean, there's the famous. I will never not hate the fact that Luka Doncic had an Atlanta Hawks hat on and Trae Young. Like that just doesn't even look right. It's just it's. NBA's got to fix that because I don't even think it's I don't even feel like giving the NFL like a gold star for the way they do it. It's just the fact that the NBA seems to have this weird. It's technically this team's pick, but no one can follow. Most people don't have Twitter, so like it's a lot more difficult.
So the pick is in. It looks like we are about to head to the podium. Let's put up the draft chimes. I don't know that this is going to Memphis. There's no confirmation, but I don't think this is going to Memphis.
Okay.
This is going to Golden State. To Golden State.
Okay. So who do we got here then? Let's get some size. Okay.
Will Richard out of Florida is going to Golden State. So let me fix this. Hold on.
Get our colors. Don't get the freaking Memphis Grizzlies. How dare you? Update the graphic, Guido.
I'm working on it. Jesus. Blue.
That's more like
Golden State Warriors. There we go. They take Will Richard. This is
kind of Gator blue too.
So Will Rich, hold on. Where is he? Hold on. It's very chaotic at this point.
No, you're good. You're good.
6'4", 200 pounds, 13 points a game. Obviously won the national championship last year with them. He's just simply a good basketball player. He's a bit more than a 3-and-D player. Better athlete than I think some people like to admit. He didn't have a great vertical leap. I think he only had like a 26 or 26 and a half inch vert at the NBA draft combine. So not great in that department, but his shooting stroke is quick. It's precise. He can cut off passing lanes, averaged almost 2 steals a game. Reminds me a lot of Malik Beasley. So if he can improve his shot selection, which again, Golden State can do, Will Richard, I think, is going to have an NBA career. So this is a good pick by Golden State.
It is. Listen, we take two guys in the second round who are kind of like below the rim players, which feels like, again, sort of the Golden State model to a degree. But yeah, listen, championship experience at Florida, good player in that regard, good defender, but again, somebody else who fits well with Steve Kerr's system. So I like the pick at 56.
We now move back to the Boston Celtics here. This was originally the Orlando Magic's pick, but this is now going to the Boston Celtics.
And they addressed their size with their last pick, as you said, like Tim was mentioning. So, again, this slate is kind of best player available type of situation for Boston. Again, lost a lot of their depth, but still kind of a, you take projects in this spot in the second round. No question about it.
Yep, definitely. No
Who's
doubt
the best
about
player
that.
left on your board?
Let's see. So it is still Hunter Salas. Hunter Salas out of Wake Forest, who declared last year, was potentially a first-round pick last year, decided to go back to college and had a bad year. So we'll see if he ends up getting drafted at all tonight. Hunter Salas, Ryan Nembhard, Tamar Bates, RJ Luis, no longer Will Richard. Eric Dixon moves into the top 5 available for me now. Will Richard was my number 51 overall player, excuse me. So Warriors getting good value there.
For sure.
So the Warriors have taken who? They took Alex Tui and Will Richard.
Similar
the
size
pick is
there.
in here for the Boston Celtics.
I wonder what they decided to do here with this, because I'm curious. Yeah.
And we did it again. And I should have scouted this guy, but I just did not have the time to get it done. Max Shulga goes to the Boston Celtics. And this is, again, VCU, good player, A10 player of the year this past year. Really solid player. I like I said, I did not have time to scout him. But Max Shulga goes to the Boston Celtics. I only did 70 players this year again, Bryson. It's just I couldn't free myself up enough.
Well, I mean, listen, it worked well for you last year. So listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But now, listen, you got to go back to the drawing board. Put yourself in position. Scout. You know what, man? Yeah, get back to the gym. 140 players next year, Mike. Let's more than double this. Come on.
No chance. No chance.
Okay.
I don't know that I could ever eclipse 120 again. That was a lot of work. That was
and the fact that you weren't rewarded for it, and that the Memphis Grizzlies messed it up for you is just cruel. It really is
brutal. Max Shulga, just a quick scouting report on him. Listen, he's like I said, I had heard a lot about him, but I had not studied him in depth. But it looks like catch and shoot threat apparently is crazy. 43.5% on catch and shoot threes, 40% on threes, on nearly 400 total 3-point attempts over the past 2 seasons. Beyond 25 feet, he hit 40% of his threes. So apparently this is a big time shooter. Good feel for the game. So again, this late shooting. That seems to be the way that things are going.
I mean, that's Boston's MO. So that's a good fit for him, especially at this spot in the draft.
So the Cleveland Cavaliers are now on the clock again at number 58. Let's see if they get value. They took Tyrese Proctor with their last pick. Made me very, very happy. Let's see if they stay on my board here. Please just stay on the board. At this point, I'm not even going to be upset at who you pick. Just stay on the board.
Well, so let's see. We've done this. Obviously, you've been scouting the draft since 2017, correct?
2017 was my first one.
2017. So we've been doing these shows 2021 to now. Have there ever been more than 2 players drafted who were not on your board?
Yes.
There were?
2021. Yep. Balsa Koprivica and Georgios Kalitsakis, I did not scout that year.
I said more than 2, though.
Oh, more than 2? No. More than 2, no.
And this could be a cruel twist of fate again for you, Guido. This really could.
I know. 2 picks left. It is Cleveland, and then whoever has 59. It says Houston. It is not Houston.
Is that the Kevin Durant trade?
Golden State. It was
okay.
The way I have it is Golden State, but that could have gone to Memphis in the trade that just happened. So I don't know if that is still where that pick is. Can I get a Shams update here at all? I'm begging for one at this point.
I've got Shams on alert, and I've had nothing come across my phone.
Shams is not tweeting, and I don't appreciate that. If I'm being honest.
Come on. If there's one thing we know about Shams, it's his work ethic. It's just it leaves a lot to be desired. You know, he doesn't. There's not much there. No, and listen, gosh, the ultimate Shams bomb, if you want to call it that. I know we call it Woj bomb, but I'll never the Luka trade is one of those you remember where you were when you found out moments. And I've never read a tweet that shocking in my life.
Yeah.
I honest to God, I thought for 10 minutes, I thought Shams was hacked. Even when he put, this is real. I'm like, oh yeah, some doofus just hacked his account. And
he never says that. Right.
When they showed it, I knew it was real when they showed it on sport, because I tuned into Sports Center and me like, okay, is Shams on there? And they said, coming up, Shams Shrani. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is real.
There's no, yeah. I was sitting at a poker table at the Hard Rock Casino in Florida, and that's where I found out. The draft chimes will tune in here for the Cleveland Cavalier pick at number 58. Stay on the board, Cavs. Come on. Saliu Niang. I actually can't believe they took him. That's crazy. They brought him in for a workout. They brought in Saliu Niang. He was my number 70 overall player.
Ooh, barely.
Yeah, just made it. He's at the draft. So it's interesting that ended up being the pick. Played for Trento this past year. In the whatever it was in the LBA in the Euro Cup last year. Very good athlete. Very, very good athlete. Runs the floor well, can finish in traffic, solid rebounder. He is a slow jumper, but it's smooth. He is a slow but smooth jumper. He's been an inconsistent shooter, but 6'8", 205, very versatile, high upside player. Again, it's going to take some years overseas for him to develop. But again, a draft and stash kid, not terrible. Don't hate it at this spot.
All right. And then last is Houston, and it's not, you know for sure it's not their pick, or because you said it was Memphis.
Not Houston. This is a proposed trade to Memphis right now. I believe Golden State traded up from this spot to get to where Memphis was, and now this belongs to the Grizzlies. Saliu Niang. I've seen mock drafts with him there. I did not that's wow. Okay, drafted stash works for me, I guess.
Y'all are deep, so that's a decent pick for y'all at 58.
Yeah. The Memphis Grizzlies on the clock here at number 59, the last remaining pick of this year's NBA draft. Boy, oh boy. Just went off the board twice. That's all. That's it.
That's not bad. Let's not jinx it.
Max Shulga should have been on the board. Max Shulga should have been on the board. But again, this year I was just crunched for time. Next year we're gonna get to a better number.
Listen, this is an opportunity. It's like you won the championship last year. You went out in the second round. It's like I want that feeling. I want to taste glory again. I want to be holding that Larry O'Brien trophy, and you're back in the gym, you're grinding away. That's what it's gonna be. I can see it from now. June 26th. June 25th, 2026, and there's just the joy from Mike Guido. He puts his hands in the air. He's wearing his Cavs shirt right there, and is jumping for joy. And I'm grinning from ear to ear for my buddy. That's what's gonna happen. We got to speak it into existence, Guido. Speak it into existence.
Speak it into existence. The pick is in here for the Memphis Grizzlies.
I just realized my shirt matches Grizzlies colors, and I'm not happy about that one bit.
And here we go. Let's fire up the chimes one last time here for Mark Tatum making the selection at number 59. Mark Tatum thanking everybody. I'd like to personally
Thank you,
reach out
Mark
to Mark
Tatum.
Tatum and say, fix the way NBA does trades. Just
Amen.
fix. All right, so
It's
Memphis
it's
making
just
the
clunky.
pick.
By the way, there's some Shams news after this. Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh no.
That's 3.
Oh no.
That's
3?
all right. That's Jemai
Oh.
Mashak out of
Hey, my
Tennessee.
guy.
Out of Tennessee,
Hey, he got
Jemai
drafted.
Mashak goes to the Memphis Grizzlies at number 59. Bryson, can you tell us anything about this guy? Because unfortunately, I cannot.
Oh, is that what a turn of events? I know about a late second round player and you don't. This is crazy. No, listen, man. Jemai Mashak is a dogged defender. Is one of the best guard defenders in basketball, college basketball a year ago. Was a offensive liability most of his time at Tennessee, but last year improved. Shooting the basketball. Actually had a darn near half court buzzer beater to beat Alabama at home for the Vols last year, so he can defend really well. Kind of fits for Memphis kind of well in that regard. So he will. I'll say this, Mike. End of year 2, start of year 3. If he's still with them, he will get some minutes on the floor. He's again not very polished, doesn't have that great of a handle, but good spot up shooters, improved from that in that regard, and is an excellent defensive player. That's my guy. I'm happy Mashak got drafted. Good for him.
Well, there we go. That does it. The Memphis Grizzlies taking Jemai Mashak to end the 2025 NBA draft. Bryson, let me tell you something. As fun as this was for me, I want you back in the control chair next year. Okay.
We'll
going back. We are going back to the way that God intended it to be. Okay. But
listen, I will not let you down.
All right, good. So again, I'm assuming that despite the fact that you were not with me the entire time, you followed it the way through. What's one thing that stood out to you in this year's NBA draft?
I can't believe the New Orleans Pelicans did what they did yesterday. I know we talked about that earlier, and that was a topic of conversation. Again, a franchise that makes the CJ McCollum trade with Washington, brings in guys like Jordan Poole. It's like this is clearly, as stacked as the West is, this is clearly, to me, best case the 11-12 seed in the West. Like if everything goes correctly, with the upheaval in the franchise, David Griffin no longer there, like it's. And for them to believe that Queen is something other than what we believe that he is, which is an excellent lottery pick guy, but not a franchise changer, is just insanity to me. And the Atlanta Hawks better be thanking their lucky stars that New Orleans did this. So what by far the most stunning part of this draft. And by the way, Ace Bailey going to Utah was shocking, but that one blew my socks off.
Yeah, that was really something. That really was something. Ace Bailey going to Utah was a big shock for me. And Ace Bailey was my number 2 overall player. Like I loved him.
Right.
I loved as a player, I loved him. But
I was watching y'all's show and it was funny. I noticed like you guys and Tyler, you and Tyler were talking about like other, like Ace Bailey wasn't even a conversation because like, oh, he's not going to be in Utah, and then they draft him, so it shocked everybody.
Yeah. Well, we were thinking, Jeremiah Fears, could it be Trey Johnson? No, they went Ace Bailey, and Ace Bailey was BPA in my mind.
Yeah.
So, but really something else. Couldn't believe that. I still am kind of like, I'm not like in disbelief, but I'm surprised that Yang Hansen ended up going in round 1.
That was an odd one. That was he's in the stands.
Weird. In the stands that Yang Hansen went in the first round.
That was surprising.
One of my favorite moments of the draft, though, and I said this earlier, when Yannick Conan Niederhauser went to the Clippers at number 30, the first round draft pick in NBA history from Penn State. I was like, and I just like, I love that was that pick. I love that kid.
Yeah.
So super cool. But all right, Bryson, super fun. Thanks for coming on. You didn't leave me totally hanging. You got about half of the second round in with me, so that's great. Okay, so we're not totally dead, but
the streak is technically alive. I could have appeared on here for 5 seconds, and the streak would have technically been alive. So it's good to be with you, brother.
That's right. But Bryson, thank you so much again. I'm Mike Guido. This is the NBA Draft live reaction show, day 2. We'll be back next year for it. And if you haven't tuned in to any of the Gryd programming, make sure that you do. The new show that we just came out, and I'm going to plug this. I plugged it yesterday. I'm going to plug it again today. PB&J with Jeff Parles and John Jansen. That is a great program. If you have not tuned into that, make sure you do. It'll be Wednesday, 4 o'clock Eastern. Make sure you tune into that. It'll be right before you, Bryson. So
yeah, good lead in.
It is quite the lineup that we now have here on the Gryd Network. So again, as for Bryson Carver, I'm Mike Guido. This is the Gryd NBA Draft live reaction show. We'll see you next year for the same exact thing. We'll see you.